Hello everybody, welcome to Home Base Games presents, I guess a live beta test for Star Wars trading card game. There was a stream yesterday on Team Covenant which got a lot of response. Star Wars TCG is my favorite game, and I've been part of the TCG community since 2002 when the game came out. My name is Ron. I'm also known as Gold Leader. I'm one of the founding members of Gold Squadron. Gold Squadron was a. I apologize for that. My phone is picking up some sound. What I was saying is Gold Squadron was a group formed in the Chicagoland area by me back in 2000 and I don't know, 2006, something like that. Um, right when X-Wing and a lot of the Star Wars games transferred over to Fantasy Flight games, and we're still just a big group of people that love to play Star Wars games. So I want to share my favorite one with everybody, and it is Star Wars trading card game. You'll notice that the stream is branded Home Base Games. Home Base Games is kind of our little I don't know what you want to call it, company that we're using to fund all of our streaming operations and any events that we do, organized play, tournaments, and that sort of thing. So this is actually the first time we've ever used this stream, so I know it won't be perfect. It's very, very much impromptu, and we are open to any positive criticism on what we can do better. But someone's got to start somewhere, and as I like to tell my wife, when we paint miniatures, um, some paint is better than no paint all the time. So that's what this stream is. It's some stream is better than no stream. I wanted to also talk about the IDC. Anyone who's watching this stream might not know what that stands for. It's the Independent Development Committee. We would not be here playing Star Wars TCG if it was not for them. The Independent Development Committee is a group of players who basically took up the mantle of continuing the game after it was abandoned by Wizards of the Coast in 2005. Wizards of the Coast is the original creator of this game. They made 10 amazing sets covering all the original 6 movies. The IDC has made 30 additional sets covering pretty much majority of the Star Wars universe, from expanded universe to comic books to video games to TV shows. They've pretty much covered everything with the exception of Mandalorian, which I'm sure they're probably working on. First thing I wanted to do tonight was kind of just talk about the agenda. Um, on the stream, we want to just go over a quick history of the game. Then we'll do a very quick tutorial. I will go over deck building. I know that's something that really hasn't been covered before. Actually, probably none of this has really been covered before. The game ended in 2005. YouTube was launched in 2002. So I don't think there's actually much in the variety of video content for Star Wars TCG. So in addition to tutorial and deck building, we're going to just jam some games. So if anyone has any questions, please be active in the chat. We'll do our best to respond to you, and we're going to dive right in. So first thing we're going to do, let's teach people how to play Star Wars TCG. So Star Wars TCG was made by Wizards of the Coast. It is a game that is pretty thematic. I like to describe it to anyone that I teach how to play as the game represents very much the end of many of the Star Wars films, the battles. If you think of Return of the Jedi, which is kind of like the perfect example, at the end of the movie, there's this huge battle at the Death Star 2. Imperial fighters and ships, Rebel starfighters, they're all just going at it. The same time that's happening, down on the planet of Endor, you've got the Ewoks battling the Imperials. As well, on the Death Star itself, you have a character duel between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. That's what this game is. This game is a battle on three fronts. So you're gonna have the blue cards, which is the space arena, the green cards, which is your ground arena, and the purple cards, which is your character arena. I'm gonna move these because there might be some glare. The purpose of the game is to control 2 out of the 3 arenas during the end of the turn. The way you control an arena is simply by having a unit in play when your opponent does not. A unit card can be identified easily by a card that has a vertical picture. So think of it like a portrait. Any card that has a horizontal picture or landscape is going to be a non-unit card. The unit cards are your basic way of winning the game. There's very few solutions, or I should say alternate win conditions, other than simply winning the 2 out of the 3 arenas. All the unit cards have some basic statistics that are all the same. In the top left corner, they have a build cost. It's how many points it costs to deploy the unit. There's a letter S with a number, that's your speed. There's a letter P with a number, that's your power. That's how many attack dice you roll. And then the letter H stands for health. That's how many hit points this unit has before it would be discarded. Whenever a unit takes damage, the damage remains on the card, and when its damage meets its health, the unit's discarded. All the cards do have game text in the text box. They're mostly relevant, or they're very easy to just read the game text and understand what they do. A lot of the times there is reminder text, especially on the Wizards of the Coast cards. But if there isn't, there is a great rule book that the IDC has on their site where you can check out any of the keywords or text, game text that you don't understand. For the other cards, I'm going to put these away. These are units. The other cards that you're going to fill your deck up with are your non-unit cards. There's a couple types. There's battle cards. Battle cards are the way that you will interact with your opponent during the battle phase. These cards are, if you've played other games like Magic, for example, these are your, think of these as your reactionary fast effect type of cards. They are not paid with a build cost, so all the spot where you would normally see a build cost is 0. There's nothing there. They're all paid for with force points. Force points is your second resource in this game. Every turn, you get 4 force points. You can spend those force points to play battle cards. If you don't spend them, they just stay there. They're kind of like a bank. You have them throughout the whole game until you use them or you lose them. Battle cards are always going to be red. And under the name of the card, you'll see the card type. So under this card, Moment of Truth, which is a Mace Windu card, you'll see the name. Below it, it'll say the word battle. So if you're not sure, always look right under the name of the card. And the same thing with units. So if I pull up a Mace Windu card, you'll actually see Mace Windu, and then right under it, the first word is character. That means it's a character unit. Other cards that we have in our decks are mission cards. Now mission cards, like units, actually have a build cost in that same corner. They're also these are also going to be in the landscape horizontal. That's how you can decipher them from a unit or not. They also do say mission right below the name, like any other card. These cards, you pay the build cost for them. They have a one-term effect, which you read in the text box, and then that card goes straight to your discard pile. All missions function the same way, with the exception that mission cards are a one-time effect. The other thing we have are locations. Locations also have a build cost. The type of location will be under the name, just like any other card, so it'll say location, and then right next to it is where that location goes. So this one is green like the ground cards are, because this location only goes in the ground arena. So if you were to play this card, you would pay the build cost. You would put this card on the table in between your ground units and your opponent's ground units. Whoever plays the card controls it and gets the effect on this card. We'll go through more of the specifics later when we're actually playing a game. The only other card we didn't discuss is a equipment card, and they are not super common in decks. We can talk about them. Andrew, you want to pull an equipment? I think you have a lightsaber in your deck. We'll just show what an equipment looks like. So here's a Sith Saber. Equipment, they have a build cost. It'll say equipment right under the name of the card. The text box tells you how you equip this equipment to a unit. All equipment is always going to go on a unit. You'll play it on the table, you'll pay the cost, and then you'll attach it either to a unit that's a character, a ground, or space, whatever it says on here. So this one will say Sith lightsaber equipment character, so you know this is going on a character. Those are all the card types using Wizard of the Coast cards, and that's where we're going to start with this stream. The IDC has introduced not a ton, but a couple new card types, which are very good for the game. But since this is our first stream, we have a lot of new players. I really only want to talk about the Wizard of the Coast cards, as it's a little simpler for people to get right into the game. It's not as many complications. There isn't as many card types. We will definitely get there, though. The IDC has made a lot of really fun cards, and they have covered way more content than Wizard of the Coast. So eventually we will be streaming games where we're using some IDC, some Wizard of the Coast, and a mixture of both. So deck building. I want to move into deck building because it's probably the question I get more than anything else, other than how do I set up on Lackey, which we'll go over that in another video. Deck building in Star Wars TCG is pretty straightforward. So I have a deck here that's actually sorted because I just recently updated this deck. So for deck building, your deck has to contain a minimum of 60 cards. I don't ever recommend playing more than 60 cards. I think it's pretty much been proven in any competitive card game that whenever there's a deck minimum, you want to run the minimum. And the reason for that is you always want to have the best opportunity to draw your best cards. So if you're running anything more than 60 cards, every card you run additionally is another chance that you are not going to draw that card. So I am a firm believer I will never play 61 cards. I don't care what anyone tells me. It's just something I firmly believe in, and it's something how I build all my decks. As far as deck building rules for Star Wars TCG, other than a 60 card deck, the only rules that you really have to follow are you need a minimum of 12 units in every arena. So if you have a 60 card deck and you're playing the minimum, you need 36 units. Characters, ground, and space. I typically run, when I choose what cards to play, I will typically run somewhere between 12 and 16 units in an arena, and those are opposite ends of extremes. So in the instance, when would I run 16? So if I was running 16 units, I'd be running them in a deck where I'm trying to probably swarm my opponent, where I need to play lots of cheaper units to hit the table to be able to defeat their larger big units. So in those kind of decks, maybe a Trade Federation deck, or maybe a Clone Trooper deck, or a Creatures deck, any kind of swarm-based strategy, my unit count is always going to be higher. In a standard deck, I would say my unit card count tends to be somewhere between 13 and 14 units. This is unlike the 60 card minimum deck size. you don't want to always have the minimum units in your deck. And the reason for that is the units are the main way to win. If you don't have enough units in your deck and you are constantly drawing non-unit cards, you're going to be at a big disadvantage in every game you play. You are not going to have as many options in which units you can deploy into an arena. When units die and build points are rolled, it's terrible to be able to not have units in your hand and spend those build points. And if your opponent's constantly spending and you aren't, you're going to find yourself on the losing side of a lot of games. So I typically would run, again, probably 13 to 14 is probably standard. So if you've never built a deck before, my recommendation, I'd put 14 units in every arena and fill up the rest with battle cards, mission cards, and locations, and I would just skip equipment. I wouldn't even use equipment until you've probably played a few more games. And it's not that they're more complicated, it's just that equipment cards tend to be not as necessary as all the other cards. So when I am designing, let's say I'm designing a deck, you often are going to design your deck by what units are in your deck. And there's a lot of ways to do this. You can design your deck thematically, or you could design your deck to be just super uber efficient and you really don't care about what character unit or what ground or vehicle that are in your deck. All you care about is the abilities on the cards. That's something mostly for competitive players. In our household, we're very thematic. Star Wars TCG allows you to basically reenact battles from the Star Wars movies, from the shows, the books. So I will tend to find a balance between good cards and cards that really fit my theme. So a good way to start, I always prefer to start maybe with characters. The characters are the heroes or villains of Star Wars, and it's always fun to maybe build a strategy around a particular character. So what I'm holding in my hand now is I call it a Mace Windu deck. Mace Windu has always been a good card in Star Wars TCG. At one point, he was probably the best card. But as things change, new cards come out, stronger dark side cards came out. He was still very good, but there are other options other than Mace. So this deck, let's see, let's count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 characters in this deck. So as I recommended, doing 14 in every unit, so I'm not a hypocrite. I actually have 14 in this deck. I started this deck out by building around Mace Windu. So I'm going to pull out all the Mace Windu cards. So in Star Wars TCG, all unique characters, you can only have one of them in play at a time. So you might see my deck, you can have 4 of any card in your deck, of any version of a card. So unique characters have a letter. You probably can't see this, but at the bottom right corner of Mace Windu, there's a letter. This is Mace Windu A. The letter designates what version of Mace Windu this is. This particular Mace Windu deck has 5 different versions of Mace Windu. And I have 2 duplicates. The reason I have duplicates is because these are the core Mace Windus in the deck. And I want to make sure that I have one of the core Mace Windus in my hand every game. So I have 4 copies of a Mace Windu that I would love to have in play anytime I'm playing. And then I have 3 other copies that might add a little versatility, or they will also help me create a stack. So when we were going through the tutorial, we didn't explain how the game handles unique characters, and this is the perfect time to do so. Unique characters, like I said, all have a version. You can have one version in play at a time, but all your other versions can help you create a stack. So a stack is when you have a character in play. I'm going to start with Mace Windu A. And I have another Mace Windu in my hand that is not the same as Mace Windu A. So if I have a second Mace Windu A, I cannot put both of those cards in the same stack. It has to be a different Mace Windu. So this card is essentially a dead card. which is why I only have 2 of the A and 2 of the F. I want one of these 4 in play, but I don't want to have lots of copies of them because I don't want a bunch of dead cards in my hand. So I put 2 of each in hopes that I'll get one and maybe the other one to stack it later on in the game, and then there's only a potential of 2 dead cards in my deck. A stack is when you take a card and you add it to the top or the bottom of another card in play. You can only stack unique cards, and you can only stack them if they are different versions. So, when you're creating a stack, there's a cost to create that stack. The cost is 1 build point if you put the card on the bottom of the stack, no matter what. Doesn't matter what card's on the top. If you're adding another Mace Windu or another unique character to your stack that's the same, it costs 1 build point. So if I put this Mace under here, it's 1. If I put Mace A under here, it's 1. That's the cost to create the stack. Now, if I want to put a Mace Windu on top of a Mace stack that's already been started, or if I want to create a Mace Windu stack and put one on top, I have to pay the 1 to add it to the stack, and then I have to pay the difference if the card I'm placing on top is higher. So Mace Windu F costs 9, Mace Windu A costs 10. If I want to add Mace Windu A to the top of my stack, I have to pay the 1 to add it to the stack, and then the additional 1 because the difference between them is 1. Now if I wanted to add Mace Windu to the bottom, again, it's just 1 point. Once you have a stack of cards, so let's say I added this one to my stack, and I had this one in my stack. 4 is the maximum of a stack that you can create. I can only have 4 Mace Windus no matter how many are in my deck in play at a time. Once I have them in the stack and I've paid the cost to put them in that stack, during my build step I can actually rearrange my stack however I want, and the way I do that is I just flip the card I want to be on the top of the stack. So let's say I've got this one that costs 7, it's on the top. I want the one that costs 10, the Mace Windu A. I would just take this card and I would put it on the top of the stack. But because Mace Windu B is 7 points and Mace Windu A is 3 points, I have to pay the difference because Mace Windu A is more expensive than Mace Windu B. So I'd pay the difference of 3 to flip Mace A on top. And you might ask, why does it matter which one's on top or which one's on bottom? The card that's on the top, those are the abilities that you can play with. The cards that are on the bottom do not add any of their text to the card that's on top. Every card in the stack does contribute 1 additional power, 1 additional health, and 10 additional speed to your character. So Mace Windu A in a full stack of 4 is going to get plus 30 speed, plus 10 for each card in the stack. He's going to get plus 3 power, and plus 3 health. So as you see, for 1 point to put the card into the stack, you are actually adding a lot of value to a character. You're increasing their speed, their power, and their health. It's probably the most efficient way to increase all of the base stats of a character in your deck. Or a space unit or a ground unit, any unique unit that has multiple versions can create a stack. So you could have a stack with the Slave One or the Millennium Falcon or Luke's X-Wing. There's a lot of different stacks that you can create. So when I'm making my deck, I chose, it looks like 7 Mace Windus, which is about half of my character arena because I have 14. And then I chose to add 7 cards that are cheaper and can support my Mace Windu. So here I added a Yoda that whenever one of my units prevents damage, I can gain a force point, so it makes my evading more efficient. I added a damage prevention R2-D2. I also added a copy of Anakin Skywalker and a copy of Padme. And the reason I did that was Mace Windu typically works really well with a whole Jedi themed deck, and Padme increases the speed of all of your Jedi, whether they're in the character arena, space arena, by 10. And this little Anakin, he hits decently for only 7, but he more importantly also protects Padme. So if they're in play together, he can kind of keep her alive longer while the rest of your units are doing work. I added this little medical droid that can heal damage from any of your characters. This is a damage prevention Yoda. You can tap him to prevent damage to your characters. And Deckbuilding, just because she has straight synergy with Mace Windu, she's cheap, and she can either tap to gain you a force, or she can attack and evade a lot of damage. Once my character's set, I'll usually dip into one of the other arenas. Let's look at ground. So like I said, Mace works really well with Jedi. So my ground units are pretty simple. They're all Jedi. The way you can tell they're Jedi is if you look. Actually, they're not all Jedi. Almost. If you look just below the name of the card, you'll see the subtypes. So you'll see it's a ground card, and then what kind of ground card. So this one's a Coruscant Shuttle. These are Jedi Knights. This is a Jedi Speeder, and this is a Jedi Knight. So all these cards are Jedi. They would all benefit from any effects that Mace Windu or Padme would give to all of them. And when I choose my ground cards, just like I chose my character cards, I usually choose like a set of more expensive cards that are kind of going to be like my core mechanic, my core damage healers. Like in this instance, my core cards are Jedi Heroes and probably the Coruscant Shuttles. These are your main cards that are going to deal damage to your opponent. These are the ones that are you're gonna try to keep alive, and these cards are really support cards for these cards. Jedi Heroes, or Jedi Patrol, they're cheap. They allow you to draw and discard cards, so filter through your deck. And Coruscant Emergency Ship is just a good card that prevents damage to your other units. As far as space goes, there's a couple different ways you can go, but again, we were going with the Jedi theme. So I got a Jedi Transport, which is just kind of an expensive card, but it's actually super annoying to kill with shields 1 and pay 1 evade 1. I've got Luke's X-Wing, B and C. Now this is not a Jedi card, but if you haven't been playing Star Wars TCG, you're going to learn real quick. This is the best card in the game. It's just ridiculously efficient for the amount of damage it can do and the what I would say the annoyance of trying to kill it. I only put one of each of these in all of my decks just because it's so good, but I feel like I kind of personally self-restrict it and don't add more than one of each. The rest of my cards though are going to be Jedi. So we've got an Anakin Starfighter. It's a good Jedi unit. Actually, I lied. We've got 2 copies of Redemption. This is not a Jedi unit, but in a world where we'll face a lot of Darth Vaders, having something to heal your Jedis, you can see is pretty important. Obi-Wan Starfighter is a Jedi. Obi-Wan Starfighter, a Jedi. We have the A and the B version, so we could stack these. I've got 4 Delta 6 Jedi Starfighters, and apparently I have 1 copy of Anakin's Pod Racer that I forgot is in my character arena. This kind of seems like a weird card in the deck. It's really actually not a Jedi, and the only reason it's in my deck is because it has 80 speed, and you'll see why later when we play. So these units are basically the core of my Jedi package in space. And again, I believe, let's count. It might be 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I only have 12 space units. I think I only have 12 space units in this deck in particular because they're all Jedi. There's a lot of ways for me to search my deck for Jedi cards, and I probably wanted to have more of a character package than space. And let's see, ground I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13. So I have 12 in space, 13 in ground, and 14 in character. And then the rest of my cards, are going to be battle cards. So here's all of my battle cards, my mission cards, and locations. So a couple things. You can't really see, but I've got a lot more battle cards than I have mission cards and locations. A reason for that is, besides unit cards, battle cards are the ones that are going to interact with your opponent the most, and they're the ones that are going to keep your units either alive or dealing damage or any tricks that your opponent has. So typically I will put anywhere between a minimum of 8 to a maximum of maybe 12 or 13 battle cards. I try not to go too many more because, again, if you have too many of these landscape horizontal cards, you're not going to win. You're going to be unit shy, unit starved, and you're not going to win very many games. So I think in this deck we probably have 12. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12. 12 cards. There's a lot of battle cards in Star Wars. And if you're new, you might ask yourself, well, what battle cards do I want to put in a deck? I think a good rule of thumb is to have kind of categorize the battle cards into different types. And so there are battle cards that will deal damage. That's what this card does. There are battle cards that will disrupt what your opponent does. That's what this card does. And then there are battle cards that prevent damage. That's what that one does. And this is a battle card that actually does two different things. This one will increase the speed of one of your units. It will also increase the power. So there are battle cards that kind of do one or the other, or there are some that do both. This card is one of those cards where it just does both, which gives you flexibility. Sometimes you have a unit that might die, but if you can manage to attack first and deal enough damage, you can finish off your opponent's unit. So running one or two of these types of cards in your deck is always very good, in my opinion. Damage prevention cards, they're just cards out of hand that prevent damage, and anytime you can put a card out of hand that keeps your card alive, gives you a better chance to win. Cards that deal direct damage to your opponent out of hand can also be a great way to win a game. They're not expecting it, because your battle cards are the hidden information of the game. Your unit cards are on the table. Your opponent gets to see what is in play. They get to plan around it. The battle cards, they can't. They have to kind of take an educated guess as to what's in your deck based on their experience playing the game. So different level of players will have different levels of access of what they think you might be playing. But these are going to be the basics. You're going to find people playing damage prevention, damage dealing, disrupt, and speed increases or power increases. Disrupt essentially is an ability that you play it and it disrupts another battle card or maybe an activated ability. We'll get into that more. So those are my battle cards. I got 12. My missions are pretty simple. I've only got two types. So I've got one mission card here. This allows me to search my deck for one of these location cards. We'll get to in a minute what these do. I've got 3 cards that all they do is I play them and they gain me 4 force. I have a Jedi deck. All of my cards require force, so having cards that gain me force is really important, especially in this game, because when you're playing Jedi, your opponent is very often going to take your force points away, especially on the dark side, because they're mean. Locations. Locations are effects that are very powerful. They come in a couple different varieties. So the ones that you see here, the one that's blue, I can only put in the space arena. The one that's green, I can only put in the character arena. And these two that are gold, what's wrong? Oh, I apologize. So I said green. The ones that are green are only in the ground arena. These that are gold, or I guess they're brown, if you look under the name, like I said before, you'll see that it's a location, and you'll see this one says ground/character. This one says ground space character. These can go in this one can go in either arena. This one could go in any of the arenas. What's important about these cards is not only do they give you good effects that are powerful, they're also required to remove your opponent's locations. When every location, as long as the location's in play, your opponent is getting usually a effect from it turn after turn after turn. The longer they stay in play, the more advantage you're getting and the more disadvantage you're getting. So having a location that can remove one of your opponent's location in any arena is always important. So I always prefer to have between 4 and 5 locations, and that's just so that I know I have answers to my opponents. I don't want to lose a game simply because my opponent played a card and I don't have a way to deal with that card. So I chose 5 in this deck, and then I also chose the 1 mission card, Lando System, that allows me to search for one of those 5. So it's, I think, a decent way to start. We'll get into deck building in greater detail, but I think this is like so new to many people that it would probably help for more people to see us play games. So we're actually going to use these decks right now, and we're just going to jam a game. So I'm going to take my prequel themed Mace Windu deck, and we're going to battle against Andrea's prequel themed Darcidius Separatist deck, I guess is what we're going to call it.
It's like Sidious and his apprentices.
Yeah, it's basically most of the characters from the prequels. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions, but I don't know. I feel like these decks are decently evenly matched. So let's battle it out.
Hello, everybody. Nice to join you. So let's get going. Yeah, so these are not super great to see.
The white and the blue come
Yeah,
up super great. What about the black and the
these
red?
are going to be worse.
They're worse.
Yeah, I guarantee it. So let's see how some of these look. Yeah, the white and the black is the best.
The white and the black.
Yep. So we'll use those for damage.
Okay.
And we can just use these to roll.
Okay.
Do you want? We can just have your own pile, and I can have my own pile.
It's fine.
So we're not passing too far.
Sure. So a couple.
Oh, I was gonna give you light side, and I was gonna take dark side.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that works.
Be themey.
So a couple things while we're shuffling up here. So I am going to do some more streaming. This was so impromptu that there really wasn't a big plan in place. I did want to go over some basic tutorials. I also don't want to just talk at people the entire time. I feel like a big way to learn the game is to actually play it or watch people play it and explain as you go. Sometimes you can just lose people by just doing nothing but talking and pointing at things that you probably can't even see on this stream. So, we're going to play. If you have questions, please pop them down in the chat. Andrea is monitoring the chat. She'll do her best job to answer those questions. If there's something you want to see, I do have all my decks, I think about 30 of them to my left. So if maybe there's a certain deck you want to see us play, we could try to get that on the stream. We're basically going to go until we just don't want to play Star Wars anymore. So I don't know how long that's going to be. We're going to go until Andrea doesn't want to play Star Wars anymore. So let's clear that up, because I think she was thinking that I would be here all night.
Yeah.
Which is probably fair.
Yeah. That was very open-ended.
This is my favorite game, and yeah, I have a problem. I could probably play all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there would be an issue. She likes it too, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't want to really play any game as much as I want to play.
That's true. This was actually the game that got me into games.
Yeah, this was your introduction to Cardboard Crack.
It was.
Yeah. So funny story is when we first started dating, Andrea really wasn't into games. It was not her thing. It was not something she did growing up. It just wasn't in her wheelhouse. And when TCG ended in 2005, I was very desperate to play. The people I played with kind of stopped playing, and she felt bad enough for me that I didn't have anyone to play with, I essentially guilt tripped her into playing.
Yeah, by the way, it took about 7 years of guilt tripping for me to finally cave.
Yeah, so for you guys who have wives and girlfriends that don't want to play games with you, don't give up. Just
Just keep going.
yeah, just keep on persistently begging, and one day your prayers might be answered. And if not, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And then one day your basement might look like ours and it's swarming with more board games. We are very well suited for quarantine, I will say.
Yeah, this is true. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got to stay home. What are you gonna do?" I was like, "Okay."
What are we not going to do? We're going to
Yeah.
actually play all these games. This is great.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing right now, I'm actually going to do my mulligan, which we didn't totally go through all of the exact rules, but it's a little easier to just go through it while we play anyway.
Yep.
So you draw a starting hand of 7 cards. Any cards that, as we discussed, are non-unit cards, i.e. they are they're landscape instead of portrait, you are able to discard these and replace them with
Correct.
3 new cards.
Yep. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
And that's
follow
what we're
the
gonna do.
actual rules.
Oh, we're not going to do our rules?
We can. Since
like
we're
our
just
rules.
playing for fun.
Yeah.
So, Andrew and I have been playing this game for a long time. And the actual rules for Mulligan is, as she stated, you will take any cards that are not unit cards, and you will discard them, and then you will draw up to your maximum hand size of 7. We have found over the years that that rule is kind of punishing for many reasons. There really isn't a good reason to not test a better Mulligan rule. And the reason for this is Mulligan rules change. Over time, games evolve. Game makers realize, oh, we didn't make the best Mulligan rule. How can we tweak it? For example, Magic, I think the Mulligan rule has changed like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I was going to say at least 4
It-
since
it's
I've been playing.
It's constantly evolving to have a better rule. So Andrew and I, have been testing this rule where we draw 7, we mulligan the cards we don't want, and the way we do that is we just put them on the table, reveal them to like you would normally do, but instead of putting them in our discard pile, we're going to draw up to 7. So I'm going to draw 7. Then the cards that I would have discarded, I just shuffle them back into my deck. Some Star Wars TCG purists will be like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? We've just found that there are times where your mulligan can so badly hamper you in a game that sometimes the game's not even worth playing because the game will be over in 1 turn. And some people say, well, then you just play a new game. But sometimes you just want to have a good game. And especially when I'm teaching new players, which I'm constantly doing, this rule is just far more friendly. We are kind of testing if this rule is like abusable in our online league that we're playing, and we are testing it in here. So
Where did we get that? Was that an IDC thing?
no.
No?
This was not an IDC thing. This was just something that we came up with. Well, really, I came up with as a rule that I really, really think is just a better mulligan rule. And we've been testing it. I haven't found a way where I could abuse it or break it yet. So if somebody else does find a way, please let me know. But I have literally got 30 decks, played with this rule for probably, a good 6 months to a year now.
Yeah, probably.
And I haven't found a deck or a strategy that really breaks this rule. So we're going to use it tonight. We're going to see how it goes. I'm playing the light side. Andrea is playing the dark side. So we will see what happens.
So again, we'll kind of go through rules
Yeah,
as we start. So dark side player always plays first and always wins ties.
Correct. And after you mulligan, you should have 7 cards. The first phase of this game is called setup. So during the setup phase, each player is going to take cards from their hand one at a time, and they're going to deploy units into an arena. And every unit card they deploy, they're going to draw a card to replace. The goal of this phase is we're basically setting the battle. We're taking turns, starting with the dark side player, playing cards from our hand, deploying units into play to set up the battlefield. Once we've done that, each player's goal is to put 30 points worth of units into play and then end with a 7-card hand. We'll explain what happens if you say you get to 28 points and you only have a card that costs 9. We'll explain what that is when that happens, and we're just going to start playing. So phase 1 of any Star Wars TCG game you play is going to be the setup phase.
So we have someone that's upset that we didn't bid.
Oh. So we are not playing a match right now. This is just a game. So bidding. Bidding is something that's done when you play a match. This is not a match right now. I promise you we're going to do matches and we'll bid. And
One day.
Yeah, maybe the next one. I mean, right now this is our very first stream, so we're just doing games.
Yeah.
So we're trying not to overcomplicate. You got to remember there's a lot of people that don't know how to play. So let's not. Bidding is something.
For sure.
Bidding is something that's used in a competitive game of Star Wars TCG.
It's also Garrett that's giving us grief. That's all.
Garrett? Well, I don't care about the great one, so it's okay.
All right. So I think we can just get going with setup.
You can do setup. So
all right.
Andrea's the dark side. So first thing she's going to do is deploy a unit to the table.
Do we want to talk a little bit of strategy with this as we go?
We can talk as we go.
So typically what I like to do, I like to, especially as the dark side player, I prefer, especially with my first unit or two, to deploy a unit that is cheap. The reason is I don't necessarily want to overcommit to a particular arena without getting information from my opponent on what they're doing. And the way that we do setup is I put a unit into play, and I'm just going to put this one into play, which is a Commerce Guild droid. It is 3 build points. So I've deployed 3 build worth of units. I draw a card to replace the card I just played. And then Ron, the light side player, has to play a minimum of 4 build points on a unit, because he has to exceed the 3 that I've already played, and then it's cumulative up to 30 build points.
Yeah, so let me explain that a little bit. So I'm going to play a card. After I play a card, my total build points in play has to be greater than the dark side player for me to then pass to the dark side player. So, for instance, she's got a 3. So if I were to play a card that only costs 2 points, I would play it, I would draw a card to replace it, and 2 is not greater than her 3, so I would have to play another card. You're trying to surpass them. Sometimes you could surpass them with 1 card, which is very likely when you have something that only costs 3. So I'll use this as a perfect example. So let's say I'm going to play a space unit.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing, when you're playing units, the dark side player is the one who sets the table. And what I mean by that is the dark side player determines where the units are supposed to be placed in the arena. Everyone's going to put their ground units in the middle of the table. But if you're the dark side player, you're going to put your space units on your left. So Andrea's left would be here. So this space unit is going to go over here. This unit only costs 3 points. I'm sure you could put a die out here so you guys can see.
Sure.
3 points. 3 points is not greater than Andrea's 3, so I'm going to draw a card to replace the one I played. So now I have 7, and now I have to play another card because I did not exceed total build of the dark side. So I'm just going to drop let's drop a ground unit. I'm going to drop these Jedi Heroes. They cost 6. So now I have a total of 9 points, and I'm going to draw a card. Now, an important thing to know about setup. Anytime you're playing cards during the setup phase, those cards are considered to be textless. Meaning, any abilities that you have on your cards do not apply during the setup phase. The only thing that matters is the cost of the card. So, when you get to the normal phases after setup, that text will then apply. So I have 9, Andrea has 3. She's responding in chat, and then after that she will deploy a card. And please let us know in chat if there's glare, you can't see a card, We'll do our best.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, no one can read any of the
Yeah,
abilities, but
obviously no one can
we'll
read
we'll
it,
go through
but we
them
can
as they
explain them.
become relevant. All right, so Ron has 9. I have 3. So I am going to deploy 3 points into space.
Okay.
So I have 6. I draw and replace.
And 6 is still not greater than 9, so she's going to keep going until she surpasses 9. So
Exactly.
each player is trying to surpass the total number of points on the table of the opposing player.
Yep. And then I'm going to play Darth Sidious in the character arena. He is also worth 6, so I have a total of 12 build represented right now.
I like that you changed your voice when you played Darth Sidious.
I mean, you should. And then I draw a card to replace it, so I still have 7 cards in my hand. You always have 7 through this setup phase.
It's kind of important. If you forget to draw cards, you're just really hurting yourself because you're leaving yourself less options of cards to play on the table. So Andrew's got a total of 12. I have 9, so I need 4 points to exceed her. And so I'm going to do something that some people think you shouldn't do, but I'll explain it. So I'm going to drop 9 points into character. I'm going to drop Mace Windu. So if you heard Andrea say earlier, let's put a 6 here and change that to there, so I have 18. Andrea said earlier that she doesn't like to overcommit to an arena, and that is a very valid strategy. You don't really want to overcommit, but I know that I have a Mace Windu deck. I also know that Mace Windu costs 9 points. I also know that this Mace Windu is one of the cards that that I said earlier I wanted as like one of the core cards. It's one of the characters I built my whole deck around. So this card I can play safely right now for 9 build points and guarantee that it starts the game in play. If I wait to play this card, I only get build points through a random d6 that's rolled by the light side player once per turn. So,
and I statistically roll 1s more often than any other human
the
on
most
live.
you're ever going to get in a turn, most likely, is going to be 7 points, and that's if you roll a 6, you have 1 unit every arena. We'll explain those points, but on average, your build rolls every turn are probably going to be between 2 and 4. You're going to get somewhere around that many points a turn. So getting your main strategies in play during setup is also something that you want to keep track of. Now, if this, like Andrea said, if I had this mace in my hand, you saw I didn't play it first. I wasn't going to just drop 9 points in the character and then let Andrea say, okay, well, Mace Windu's in play. I'm just not going to play any characters. I'm going to try and win the other 2. I'm putting this 9 here after she already committed 6. So I've only committed 3 more points than she has to character, and now my main strategy is online.
All right, so Ron has 18, I have 12. So I'm going to start by deploying another ground unit. It's a Reek. Draw and replace, so that's 3. Then I'm going to do 4 on a skiff. So I'm at 19. So I have now exceeded Ron. Make sure I have 7 cards in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now it's Ron's turn again.
I'm not really a fan of the skiff.
I know you're not.
So
it's really good when you have a really big fat character. For those of you, so Skiff reads, tap, choose one of your opponent's untapped characters, tap that unit unless your opponent pays 2 force, play only when this unit would attack. So in lieu of attacking, it taps to force drain my opponent or tap their character.
Yeah, so in a little strategy of what's happening right now is if you look at space, we essentially have pretty comparable units. Her dark side unit is probably the best 3-point dark side unit you can have. It's fast, it's efficient, and it will protect your more valuable dark side units. This unit is a very efficient light side unit. It's fast, it does good damage, and it has a little survivability with evade. We're light side maybe is slightly ahead here, but this arena is essentially fully contested. Anything can happen here.
Mm-hmm.
The ground arena, I have one really good unit. She's got 3 units, and what she's doing is kind of forcing me to put more units in the ground arena. And the reason I say that is because if I just say, you know what, I'm going to let her have the ground arena, she has all 3 of her units actually help her in other arenas. The skiff will either tap my Mace Windu or drain me of 2 force points. The reek, she can just tap to discard to draw a card and discard a card, so it gives her hand filtering. And this little annoying droid can shoot ion cannon at my space units, so she can roll dice at my space units. And if I don't do something about ground, I'm probably going to lose this game. She also has Sidious, which is kind of like bait. Like, this Sidious
Come to the dark
can
side.
literally attack my ground units. So it actually can use ability to deal damage to my ground units, not an attack. So she's got a lot of cross synergy going on. So she's putting me in the situation of I have to kind of commit. I'm at 18. I only have 12 points left. I kind of have to commit to one of these other arenas now. And she's got the flexibility of bouncing to whatever arena she wants. So, with that being said, I probably should figure out what I'm going to do. So I could try to quickly maybe win character in space and ignore that, but again, like I said, if I ignore it, she's kind of getting the free reign. I don't think I'm going to totally ignore it, but I still think I'm going to play my best cards. So I'm going to play Luke's X-Wing. Costs 5 points. This is the C version. It's not quite as good as the B version, but it is still a very good
Still
card.
annoying.
And I'm going to draw a new card.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to play another one of these Commerce Guild guys. So that's 3. Oops. Draw a card. And then I'm going to play droid missiles for another 3.
Okay.
So 6 and 1. Replace my card.
Yeah. So this setup's not, I'll be honest with you, the setup is not looking good for me. She is putting a lot of pressure on ground.
And these 2 ground units that I played, they actually have an ability called ion cannon,
yeah.
meaning they can shoot from ground up into space.
Yep. And she's got 2 of them, and she's got some really good cheap units that can actually. This droid missile, if I don't kill it, can kill either one of these units unless I do something. It's pretty nasty. So we'll get to that. So now I have to decide. So I'm at 18, 23, so I have 7 points left. So I didn't really want to play this, but I'm going to. So I'm going to play Anakin's Pod Racer for 3 points. So we're going to make that a 6, make that a 2, draw a card. So I have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Okay.
So 12, 24, 26. I have 4 points left.
Yep. So I'm going to play another TIE Interceptor for 3. So I have 24, 28. I have 2 points left. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to do something, and this is mostly for a teaching moment, not necessarily the best play, but it's still a good play. So I have 4 points left. 4 points will get me to 30. This is the last card I'm playing. The last card I play, I can choose to either... I can put 4 build points on it, and I can choose to complete this card and put it directly into the arena, or, since it's my last card, I can actually choose to keep it in the build zone with 4 points on it, technically as a partially built card, even though the card has enough points to complete it. It's only because it's the last card I'm playing in setup. Also, because it's the last card playing in setup, I have to reveal it to my opponent. They get to see all the cards that my initial 30 build points go into. And the reason I'm playing this in the build step, in the build zone, is because this card has an ability that says when I deploy this card, I can search my deck for another Jedi card and add it to my hand. If I put this card directly into play right now, that text does not trigger because every card I deploy during setup is textless. They have no abilities right now. They are just cards that I'm adding to the battlefield. So what I want to do is put this, I'm going to put it in my build zone. I'm tapping it only because to really show that it's in my build zone. It's technically not a tapped card. I could have my card like this in the build zone, but I just find it easier to make it really nice and clear to my opponent that the card is in my build zone. So I will put it here so you guys can see the card, but it is not in the arena. It's going to be, I'll put it back here a little bit. It's in my build zone with 4 counters on it. And I am going to be at 6 cards. I'm going to draw my 7th, and then I am done with building.
One sec.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to use my remaining 2 build points and put them on Masameda. Masameda needs 3, so I'm only going to be able to put 2 on there. So it needs 1 more, so it's partially built back here. And again, I'm very sorry that we have a small surface area and glare and all of these other things.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it
is.
is.
We literally decided to put this stream together at maybe, 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Yep. And so I had to research how the F to set up a live stream and
yeah, so
download the software and do all of the things.
We do apologize. Yeah. It's not the greatest, but we will learn from our experience and we'll get better.
Yep. All right. Make sure I have 7. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have 7. All right.
So what we completed was the first phase of any game that you're ever going to play in TC. This is called the setup phase. Now, we will never do this part of the game again. We're never going to just randomly deploy units. Not randomly, but we're not going to select units and deploy them to the table for with a set amount of points. The game from this point on is going to be broken down into essentially 3 phases. You're going to have a ready phase, a command phase, and a battle phase. You should be able to see on the side of the stream the different phases, and I actually know a lot of players who have played this game forever that actually don't know what the names of the phases are. I actually had to look them up just because honestly we play so much and we just
know them.
We just know what to do. We don't really think about the phases. But the ready phase is very simple. That phase is where every player will untap all of their cards. Then the light side player will roll for build points, and each player will gain force points. The build points are what we use to deploy the cards going forward. Without that roll, you're not going to have points to deploy. The force points are what we're going to use to play any activated abilities on our units or any battle cards that are in our hand. So right now, let's start the ready phase. There's nothing to untap because we haven't done any battling, nothing's tapped. So then we each gain 4 force points. Yep. So what should we use for force points?
I guess we could just use these big reds.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to put it over here.
Yeah, so we each gain 4 force points.
It's a little bit off.
A little bit off? Okay. And then now the light side player is going to roll a die to see how many build points we get. So you're not light side.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm used to playing light side.
All right. So I'm going to roll this die because, she's a terrible die roller, so I don't want her to ever roll. See?
Oh, nice. There you go.
All right, we got a 6.
So we got 6.
So when the roll for build is made during this step, each player wants to check their units in an arena. So right now, I have 1 character, I have 2 ground units, and 2 space. Because I have 1 unit in every arena, when this roll is made, I actually get a bonus point. I get 7.
As do I.
She has the same, so she's going to get 7. So this is important because if I didn't have, like, say this Mace Windu was retreated and just hanging out in my build zone, when that roll is made, I would actually lose that point. I wouldn't get it, and she would gain an extra point. That is one of the reasons why during setup, a lot of people will try to at least put something in every arena. Also, you're putting things out in arenas to kind of feel it out, right? A lot of this game is kind of jockeying for positioning. How you play cards, the order, your sequencing, the timing is where the strategy is. The dice rolling, honestly, is just a card, a game variance mechanic. And honestly, as much as I've played this game, I can say that very few games come down to just terrible dice rolls. It does happen from time to time,
Like
but
any game of variance, it will happen,
honestly,
but it's rare.
in a lot of the games, especially when the games go longer, I mean, you can roll 100 dice in a game. For one roll to really decide the game is usually not the case. So we have our build points. We untapped our cards. We gained our force. That is the ready phase. And I'm sure I'm getting killed on the chat about how dice don't matter, right?
Garrett is saying that Darth Ted would disagree with us, and I said yes, he would, and he would be wrong. Sorry, Ted. You're probably not watching
He's
this,
probably
so
not
it's
watching
fine.
the stream anyways. So, all right. So now we're going to go to the second phase, which is the command phase.
Correct. Yes, that's called the command phase. So it starts with the dark side player initiating their turn, which is start by drawing a card.
Yep.
So I have 8 cards in my hand.
And like Andrea said, the dark side is always going to go first, and the dark side is going to win all ties.
Yeah.
So the dark side is going to take the first build step. They draw 1 card at the start of their build step. Then they can deploy any cards from their hand. They can move units around in or out of the arenas. And they can also exhaust to use abilities that are only during the build step. For example, this Reek right here has an ability that says you may draw a card, then discard a card, play this card only during your build step. So any card that says play during your build step, this is the time you would do it.
Exactly.
Also, if you had an ability with upkeep, you would pay any of those upkeep abilities at the start of the build step. We don't have any upkeep, so we're not going to worry about it.
Yep.
All right, so Andrew's going to take her build step.
Yep. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Reek card, which again says tap, draw a card, then discard a card from your hand, play during build. So I'm going to tap him to draw a card. And then I'm going to discard a card.
So if you notice when you're in the normal phases of the game,
And I apologize, I'm just going to keep my deck and my discard pile off the screen because we have a very small play surface.
yeah, and when you're playing, when you get to the 3 phases, the ready phase, the command phase, and the battle phase, when you get to those phases, each player is only drawing 1 card from their deck every turn. So cards like Reek, cards like Jabba Sandcrawler, Jabba Sail Barge, any card that allows you to draw additional cards or cycle through the cards that are in your hand. And when we say cycle, what we mean is you're drawing a card and then you're getting rid of a card. You're actually not netting new cards. You're just changing the options of the cards that you have. So what she did was she drew a card and she discarded a card. What'd you discard?
Slave 1D.
All right. She discarded a copy of Slave 1, which means she probably doesn't think she needs more space units.
Okay, and then I'm going to use one of these build points to deploy Masameda.
And she's completing what's called a partially built card.
Correct.
So when a card has dice on it and it's in the build zone, that card is considered being partially built. You can deploy the card whenever you have the amount of build points on it during your build step. So once she got 3 on Moss, she chose to complete the card, and she took the card from the build step, removed the dice, and put it into the character arena.
And then I am going to put a damage on Masameda, so that's his ability. At the start of character battle step, if you have another arenas, he can retreat. But the main thing is put a damage counter on one of your units. I'm going to choose to put it on Mas. Gain 1 build point, play only during your build step. So again, that's an ability that only triggers during
Okay,
build.
so Masameda has one of the abilities in the game that we'll refer to. It's called a activated ability. So an activated ability is an ability in the text box where you see some kind of condition followed by an arrow. Anytime you see that, that's an activated ability. The condition on this activated ability is, like she said, she has to deal a damage to one of her units to gain a build point. What she's going to do is she's going to put this damage on Masameda because he has a nice 5 juicy health, so he can do this quite a few times, and he can only do it once per turn. But this guy's never going to fight. She's going to just gain that build point and then keep him retreated so that she just nets a nice little advantage from him. And then eventually she'll probably just kill him.
Yep. And then I have, so now I have 7 build points again, and I'm going to use all 7 on a patrol mode vulture droid.
Yeah, I was worried about that. So, as you saw, she kind of baited me into a ground fight because she has all these units that hurt me in other areas. She's got these droids that can attack my space units. She's got this guy that can mess with Mace Windu. And she has that Reek that's just sitting there giving her an advantage drawing cards. It's super annoying. And she kind of baited me into a fight. And I'm not even sure this is a fight I can actually win. But I know it's a game that I probably can't win unless I can take out some of these other units that are hurting me in the other arenas. So I think this might be a battle where I'm personally trying just to kill as much as I can so I can win the other 2 arenas. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's one of the things in this game where people don't think there's much strategy. Oh, it's a dice game. It's all luck. There's actually a ton of strategy just happening in this game. And we're actually using, I would say, pretty basic decks. These are not... I would not consider these super advanced decks with any crazy combos. It's pretty basic strategy.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Reduce
manage
glare.
the glare. Yeah,
glare
it's
real
worse
bad.
on my side than it is on your side,
Okay.
which I kind of wanted it that way. So
Okay, that's fine. All right, so Andrea doesn't have any build points left. Do you have any other activate abilities that you want to use during the build step?
I do not.
Okay, so she's done. So now it's going to go to the light side player's build step. And during the light side player's build step, I have 7 cards. I'm going to draw a card at the start of my build step to go up to 8. And I've got 7 points to play with, and I've got to do something about that ground arena. So, remember this card I saved? It has 4 points on it. It costs 4. I'm going to deploy this card. It has an ability that says, and it's a triggered ability, it says, when you deploy this unit, you may search your deck for a Jedi card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. So I have a couple options. This card's really good. Couple of reasons. I can search for any Jedi card, including this card. If you look at the name of the card, look just below it, it'll say Ground Jedi Speeder. This is also a Jedi card. So I could actually search for another copy of this card, which would then, if I played a second copy, I could search again for either another copy of this card or an additional Jedi card. And that's kind of the decision I have to make. I'm not looking good in space because... I'll explain. Dark side wins all ties.
Correct.
I have a 60 speed and a 50. She has 2 60 speeds and a 50. Both of these units have an ability that will protect this unit. It's called Intercept. It's an activated ability where she pays force, and she forces me to not attack this unit, but to attack one of these units. Because they are 60 speed, she's going to win the tie against my Luke's X-Wing, which means these 2 units are going to attack and damage both of these units before I even get a chance to go. Then, even if both of these units survive, she could spend 2 force to force me to attack this, which then allows this unit free to use its ability to discard itself and put 3 damage counters on one of my units, and I can't use evasion to prevent, because what this unit does is it kills itself, it discards itself, and it puts 3 damage counters on a unit. It does not deal damage. If I'm not being dealt damage, I cannot use evade to prevent damage. So that card is kind of an answer to all of the um,
Annoying
evasive. Yeah,
starfighters.
it's the light side defensive evasive abilities that have evade. So my options are here is I can either try to get a Jedi card to help me deal with this space arena. And what I would honestly need a Jedi card that allows me to go faster so I can kill one of these. Or another Jedi card, maybe these two go, they kill this, and then a third card can be at 60 speed and go above this. It's going to be pretty difficult, unless I have a speed change card in my hand. Which, huh, which is going to be difficult. So, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to search for another one of these shuttles. I think I'm going to need a couple more units to be able to deal with what's going on here. Like I said, I'm not really trying to win that arena. I'm pretty confident that Mace is going to be able to take out Palpatine. And that Palpatine is probably going to start using its force points to just kill these guys. So I think I need a steady supply of ground units to eventually win this game. So I'm going to search for that. I'm also going to put this in my hand. Alright, so I searched for that card. I haven't spent any points yet because this had 4 points on it. I still have 7. So the first thing I think I have to do, because I really am going to need force points this turn. I really think I'm going to need force points. Let's see. The skiff is going to make me spend 2, at least me at 2 force points, which won't leave much for evasion. So I'm going to spend 1, 2. I'll play Seek the Council's Wisdom. This is a mission card. It costs 2 points. It says you gain 4 force. That's it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that in my discard pile. And I'm going to add 4 force points. I have 5 points left. Decisions. I still think I probably need... I'm going to be going pretty slow. So I have this dilemma. I'm trying to decide, do I deploy something here to deal with this, or do I deploy something here and stay in space? If I stay in space, there's a good chance that I could get Iron Cannon and get attacked from these guys, and that droid missile is going to kill me. I don't currently have an answer. So this droid missile is an activated ability. The cost is just discard this unit. If I had a disrupting card that said disrupt an activated ability, I could actually play that when she tries to do this, and then it would just kill that card. And I don't have that. So I'm going to have to literally survive a different way. So the only way to do that would be to play a third unit here, and I would have to kill both of these. So here's the trick. If I play another unit here and she survives with one of these, this thing's still going to go off and kill one of my guys, which I don't know if I really want. So the question is, do I have enough here to kill some of these guys and not get taken out by the patrol mode in time? I don't really know.
The dice will tell.
Yeah.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah, so I unfortunately think I might have to abandon the space arena until I kind of deal a little bit with the ground arena. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a second copy of the shuttle for 1, and I'm just going to grab...
Another one?
I think I'm just going to grab another one.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep the chain going. So I'm going to grab another shuttle. I have 1 point. I'm going to put this card in my hand, and then I'm going to spend my last point.
Eric says, "Run away, Luke, you pook."
What? I don't even get that. I don't even have a puke Luke in play.
You do. You have Luke's X-Wing.
Oh, that. Touche. That's what he meant. Okay. I thought it was the puke Skywalker.
Yes.
So normally when you play, you're gonna let your opponent cut, but I don't think she thinks I'm cheating. It'd be pretty lame to cheat on stream. Don't ever cheat on stream.
Yes, we have learned this lesson from working with Gold Squadron.
Okay.
Please don't cheat on stream.
Yep.
We will call you out.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to spend my last build point here. So let's take one of these, put it here, and I am done spending build points.
All right. So we are done with the ready phase, and then done with the.
Actually, we're still in the command phase.
Yes, we are. So the next step is dark side retreats. So I am going to retreat Masameda, and you retreat them by tapping them and putting them back into your build zone.
Yeah, so the cost of retreating any unit is to tap the card and retreat it, unless you have a card, like a battle card or an ability that says otherwise. So there are cards like Rune Haku in the Trade Federation. He has an activated ability that just says pay 0 force and retreat. So you don't even have to tap him to do it. It's
Correct.
Cool.
All right, so I am retreating Masameda, and I am retreating nowhere else. So then I pass to Ron, the light side player, and he can retreat a unit if he chooses.
Yep, so like I said, I'm kind of, what do you say, Schitt's Creek without a paddle? It's not looking good here. The thing that's probably going to happen if I stay is both these units are going to go. I'll go with both of these units, try to kill these two. I probably won't kill it. I know I won't kill it. Even if I did, this is still free to kill any one of these, which I don't want her to kill this, because if I draw the good Luke, I can stack him on top for 1 point.
And then he's 4 health and not immediately killed.
And he's a beast. He'll win that arena probably.
For sure.
So I'm going to retreat Puke Skywalker. So I'm going to exhaust and return these to my build zone.
You have your way, Eric. Luke ran away.
All right. And then we're going to do some battling.
Yep, battle phase.
So
we start with space battle.
Yep, and also we would start with any like triggered effects when the battle phase starts.
Fair, yes.
We don't have any.
No,
in this
we do
game.
not.
I don't think there are any.
Nope.
Oh, you kept Sidious in? That was intentional?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so cool. We'll have the Sidious Mace Windu fight. So space.
I wasn't sure if you were going to retreat space, so
when we go to the space battle step, I don't have any units. But in order for you to move from one arena to the next arena, if the unit cannot attack, the unit simply taps. So in order of speed, she would just tap her units, highest speed to lowest.
So I have 2 60s, these 2 ties are 60s, and my droid missiles are 50s. So I would tap my 2 60s and tap my 50 to indicate that they all have passed their attacking opportunity.
Yeah, and the reason for this is there are everything in this game works on what's called a player pass opportunity. And there are little windows in between like attacks and in between certain steps where you can play battle cards, or sometimes you can even play units. There's units like Hidden Cost that can come into play. Like
at the end of the arena
actually can come into
battle.
play in between any standard player pass step, which would be in between attacks or in between arenas.
Yep.
So we don't have any of those going on right now, so we're just going to go to ground.
Yep.
And,
so speed check for ground.
Yep, and Anakin Skywalker has 80 speed.
Oh yeah, so Anakin's definitely
first. He's definitely going to go first.
Yep.
Because this is pod racing. I did that for Eric. He loves pod racing.
Eric says thanks.
All right, so Anakin has an attack for 2. It is good to note this Anakin's pod racer. If you have this card at home, this card is misprinted. Anakin's pod racer is a unique unit. There should be a letter A at the bottom of this card, but there isn't. So don't think you can run 4 of these at the same time. It is a unique card. It is Anakin's pod racer. You can only have one in play at a time. So he has 80 speed, which is fast, and he has a power of 2. So we're going to roll 2 attack dice. He also has Lucky 1. Lucky 1 is a near busted ability at some points. When it's being combined with other defensive abilities, it's really great. But basically, what it does, it allows you to re-roll any die when you're attacking up to your lucky value. So if I have a lucky 1, I can re-roll 1 die. If I had lucky 2, I can re-roll 2, whatever. And then I can also re-roll 1 die from my opponent for my lucky value. So if I have lucky 1 and she attacks me with any of these units, I can force her to re-roll one of those units attacking dice. So I can choose a hit and have a 50-50 chance that hit gets re-rolled into a blank. It's very good. So a lucky 2. I'm going to roll 2 dice.
At?
There's lots of terrible choices.
Yes, there are.
I think at this point, the card I hate the most is probably... It's probably the skiff.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll at the
So
skiff.
he's rolling at this guy.
Yep, that's this guy. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. And I got 1 damage. I have
But
lucky
you can-
1, so I
yep.
can re-roll 1. And hey,
You
2
got 2.
hits.
Let me
So
make
now-
sure I don't have
So
anything.
now let's explain. So when I roll 2 damage, what happens is there's a player pass opportunity for damage. Meaning, if you have a ability that's like pay 1 force evade, you could use that ability to prevent one of this damage. Also, if you had a battle card in your hand, you could play a battle card that would prevent damage.
Which is what I'm about to do. So I'm going to pay one of my available force to play Jedi Piloting, which says pay 1 force, prevent up to 2 damage from a space or ground unit.
Yeah, so that's
It's a one and done.
And that's one of those hidden information cards that we were talking about. So I couldn't play on the fact that she had that. So I'm going to basically do nothing. Now we do another speed check. So we're going to look for the unit with the highest speed, and the dark side wins all ties. So I have a 50.
I also have a 50.
So that means she gets to go first.
Yep.
Which is that annoying
And
skiff.
yes, it is the annoying skiff. And we might as well just work on draining you. So I am going to activate its ability, tap, choose one of your opponent's untapped characters, tap that unit unless your opponent pays 2 force.
Yeah, so that was...
And I have to trigger that when it
Yeah.
attacks.
So that was the reason I played this card earlier, because I knew that she was just going to start draining my voice with that card until I kill it. So I only have 1 character. I can't afford to tap it, otherwise Palpatine can just honestly do whatever he wants, and I can't let that happen. So I'm going to pay the 2 force. We're going to set this to a 2.
Yep.
So I have 6.
Yep.
And then my Jedi Heroes gets to go?
Yep.
So here's the unfortunate thing. I want to kill this thing, but there's also 3 other units that hasn't attacked yet. These other units also cause me problems. Statistically, 6 dice, I usually plan 50-50. Maybe I'll get 3 damage. She could have another damage prevention card,
Well, these have 4 health each, but
but they have 4 health. So there's a
your
good-
odds are not as
the
good.
odds are
Yeah.
not good that if I attack with this unit, I will actually remove one of these before they get to attack. They're most likely going to get to attack because I have the same speed as her, and those 2 units are going to go before these. So unless I roll a 4 out of 6, and she has no other cards, and she has plenty of force, most likely not going to kill that. So I think I'm just going to go with the unit I want to kill, which is the skiff. So I'm going to roll 6 dice, and I'm just going to roll at a unit that already attacked. And the dice gods were with me. I got my 4 damage. And now there's another damage POP. So if she has a card, she can play it to prevent any number of that damage.
Which I will do. I have a high speed dodge, pay 1 force to prevent 3 damage to a unit with speed 50 or higher.
Yep. And if I had a card that said pay X force and disrupt a battle card, I could play that and get rid of it, but I actually don't have one. So it is what it is.
So it's still
So-
going to take 1
Yep.
because I'm only preventing 3.
Yep.
So this has 1 damage on it.
Okay. And then now we do another speed check. I'm at 40.
Yep, I
She's
got
at
2 40s as well.
and a 20, so she's going to go first with those 2 40s.
Yep. So these guys have an ability called Critical Hit 2. Critical hit means if you roll a natural 6, you add however many your critical hit is to your success results.
Yep.
So 1 6 with this guy's roll represents 3 damage because it's the 6 of a success plus the 2 for the critical hit 2. It rolls 2 dice. It also, as we said, has ion cannon, so it can shoot into space, but I have no one to shoot at because he's retreated. So instead, we are just going to start working on some of his guys here. I think we probably...
Yeah, so the Jedi heroes have not super efficient evade. It's pay 2, force evade 1.
Right.
These guys have very efficient evade, pay 1, evade 1.
Yep.
This guy has lucky and pay 1, evade 1. So
yeah.
This guy's probably the
hardest.
Doesn't do the most damage, but he's the most annoying to put damage on.
Correct. But these guys are also only rolling 2 dice.
Right.
So I think I actually, as a strategy, I think I want to go at the Jedi heroes and make you, because I have a statistical chance of only rolling 1 die,
right.
or
and
rolling 1 hit,
either burn
and
through
make
damage.
you either burn through cards or burn through force in order to prevent some of that damage, because that's your hardest hitter.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to roll 2.
And also notice, before we roll any dice, we are exhausting our cards, or we're tapping them.
Yeah.
I see this a lot with new players. They'll play and they'll forget, oh, I gotta tap. Tapping your cards is important. Tapping a card means the card is used. Any unit that is untapped can also attack. So, what do you...
I was wondering what set that's from. I think that's Revenge of the Sith.
It's right? Revenge of the Sith. It's Mace Windu F. It's probably the second best Mace Windu. And the reason I have it in my deck is because I would like to run 4 Mace Windu A, but as you see, that would kind of...
Yeah, it gets...
Yeah, and actually, this card actually has some really amazing utility against Darth Vader R or Darth Vader S, where Mace Windu A doesn't have that same utility. So, it's actually a pretty versatile card.
Yep, you're welcome. Alright, so this guy is tapping to attack the Jedi heroes. Okay. So he's going to roll 2 dice. And he has 1 success.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not going to evade. I could spend 2 to evade. My force points are precious. I'm just going to take that 1 damage for right now.
The other one is going to tap and attack the same target.
And don't roll a 6.
Oh! 6-5, ladies and gentlemen. 6-5.
Alright, that's terrible.
So that represents 4 damage.
Yep. And so, I have some choices to make here. So
just so you guys, because this is 4 damage, this is a 6 and a 5. I'll make it over here so it's a little easier to see. So my 6, because it's the critical hit, this represents 3 damage. This is the 1. This is 4.
Yep.
This unit has a total of 4 health with 1 damage on it, and pay 2 to evade 1.
So even if I evaded 1, I'd be taking 3, and I would still die.
Correct. So he needs to have a battle card in his hand to save that unit.
Correct. And some people might say, well, why would I want to save the unit? If it's probably going to die no matter what, why would I save the unit? Here's the reason why. Andrea still has a gigantic
patrol mode,
8 patrol mode Vulture Droid with accuracy.
Yep.
Now this unit can almost in a single attack wipe out any of my other units. By preventing enough damage to stay alive, even with 1 hit point, I will get an additional use out of this unit unless she uses this big attack to wipe it out.
Which is a waste for me.
Which is kind of a waste for her, but also takes 6 points of damage off of maybe wiping out her skiff or one of my other targets that I want. So there is an advantage to me to play a card to stay alive and make her make that decision. People don't understand unless you play this game a lot. There's actually a ton of strategy. It's not just about these little dice rolls. It's the decisions you make based on your dice rolls. Or based on the cards. So I think I am going to play a card. I have Moment of Truth. It's a damage prevention card. Okay. So this is a damage POP step. I can play this card. It costs 1 force, so I'm going to spend 1 force. And it says that prevent 1 damage to one of your units. If Mace Windu is in the character arena, which he is, prevent an additional damage. I can prevent 2.
Okay.
So 1 force to prevent 2. So I basically would
You're
have
take 2 damage.
I basically would have 2 damage showing, which would keep him alive.
Correct.
Or I could spend the other 2 from here to prevent another one, and that way I would only be taking 1.
Yep.
Which would have 2. I don't think that helps me because if she wants to kill me, she's going to kill me anyways. So I think I'm just going to spend the 1.
Yep.
Prevent
I
the
would agree
2.
with
I'm going
that.
to take the 2. I'm going to go to 3.
Yep.
And make her make the decision on what she wants to do with that patrol mode vulture card.
Yep. Which I think.
And this is where decisions get tough because, like I said, so she has the option to, with 8 dice.
Yeah.
This unit has 8 dice.
Yeah.
It also has accuracy. Accuracy is a dice modifier that means.
Oh, actually, your ships are going to go before mine anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's fine.
Good point. But anyways, with accuracy. So normally in this game, we didn't even explain this. When you roll dice, 4, 5, and 6 are your hits. 50-50. Any one of those counts as a success. 1 hit.
They can't see those, but yes.
1, 2, 3 is a miss. If you have accuracy, 3 counts as a hit. So those would all be hits. Conversely, there's a defensive ability, armor, which says that only 5 and 6 hit. If you have armor and your opponent has accuracy, they wash, so it's just 4, 5, 6. So yeah, actually, another speed check. So these are 40s. This is a 20. These are both going to go first. I have 3 dice each on these. This unit has shields. For every shields, it has shields 1. For every instance of shields, I actually have to lose an attack die.
Correct.
So instead of rolling 3, I would roll 2.
At this target.
At that target, which sounds terrible. I know I'm not going to kill this thing anyway, so I'm just going to work on the things that I want to kill. So I'm going to roll 3 dice, and I'm going to roll up the skiff and try to get rid of it.
It's fair.
And
0.
Yahtzee. All right, I got
Reverse Yahtzee.
yeah. That's the Star Wars Yahtzee.
Yeah.
That's when you don't roll anything.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'm going to go with the other guy. I'm going to do the same thing and hopefully roll a little better. All right, I got 1 hit. Which is super annoying because that thing's going to live for 1 more turn.
Yes, it is.
All right. So
All right.
now, Joe Speeder.
Unless Anakin kills it, which he might.
That is true.
All right, so then my 20 speed guy gets to go. And I think I'm just going to try and take one of these shuttles. Actually, I might try and take Anakin's pod racer off for the same reason that we just said. It might give this chance to sit around for an extra turn.
Yeah, because it's 80. This is only 50, so that
Correct.
would go before this guy would go.
Correct.
Yep, go for it.
So we're going to roll, and he just has lucky 1, pay 1, evade 1. And this guy, as we said, has accuracy 1.
So yeah, rolling 8 dice with accuracy.
All right, so good thing I have accuracy. I rolled 3 3s. All right, so that is 6 damage.
Yep, so I can make a re-roll 1. Re-roll 1. It's not like... All right, so that's
So
5. I can evade 1 and take 4.
Yep.
That'll still die.
Correct.
So I would need to have another battle card, which unfortunately I don't. So Anakin's going to die. There's no point evading. I know he's going to die mathematically, so
Yep.
I'm not going to waste the force point.
All right.
All right. And now all of our units are attacked in the ground arena, so we go to character.
Yep.
And
Speed
I've got
check.
a 50 speed. Andrea has a 40.
Correct.
And we're going to take this really juicy attack
Yeah, it's fine.
on Palpatine because we don't like him.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
And I had to spend force to keep my skiff alive, so he can't evade. So.
yep. So, we're going to show you why we play this Mace Windu. So this Mace Windu has 7 power. It has an activated ability where I can spend 2 force points. So knock this down to 3. And the ability actually says...
Is it spending 2 force points?
Yeah. Pay 2 force.
Shouldn't you be at 4 then?
I had 5.
Oh, it was just 5 and 2 dice. Okay.
Yeah. It was 5 and 2 dice. Yeah.
Okay.
I spend 2 force points. I reveal the top card of my deck. So I'm going to reveal this card. Oh, it's
Another mace.
It's another mace that costs 8 build points. Mace Windu gets plus X power for this attack. Where
What?
X equals the build cost of the card that I just revealed.
Okay, I didn't know that mace did that.
Yep. So
I probably would have retreated Palpatine or Sidious if I knew that.
So I'm going to
But
get
that's
8
okay.
power on this attack. So plus 8.
Jesus. All right.
And
I
this
guess
is one of the most fun,
he's gonna-
satisfying things about this game
Yeah.
is rolling all of these dice.
Yeah.
Now the sad part is this is one of my maces that I could stack. So, but it's going to get discarded for this ability.
Yeah, but it just might take out
But
Sidious
it just
anyway.
might kill Sidious before he does anything.
Yeah. Yes, it was a very good reveal, Garrett.
Yep,
That
and
looks bad for me.
so you get to roll a grip full of dice, and it looks like we've got 9 hits.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a battle card
Nope.
that you have
There's
that you
nope.
can play. So
Nope.
Sidious,
He dies.
just like Revenge of the Sith, got punked by Mace Windu, and
Yeah.
there's no Anakin to save him.
That was really sad.
Okay. All right. So there are no characters. So now we go to the end phase or the end step. During the end step, we see the victory condition. Right now, Andrew is winning space. I'm not here. We are contested in ground. We both have units, so no one's winning. I'm actually winning character because Masamune is retreated. He is not in the arena. So I've got this arena, she's got this arena, no one's winning this, so the game will continue. Mace has an effect at the end of the round. When the character battle step ends, he gains a force. So I actually go up to 4. And then we go to the ready phase. We're going to ready our cards. I will even ready the 2 cards that I retreated in my build step. And the reason I ready them is because I can choose to put them back in the arena and try to fight, or even retreat again. So,
Alright, so we untap.
that's step 1.
We gain force.
We gain force, so I'm going to
I
gain
get
4.
6.
So I'll be at 8. And then I'm the light side player. I'm going to roll a die for build. And I got a 2. When I made this roll, I did not have a space unit. My guys are still retreated, so I do not get a bonus. Masameda is still retreated. She doesn't get a bonus, so we each get 2 points. So I'm going to take 2 here. And dark side player goes first.
Yep, so I draw a card. And I'm going to push Masameda into the arena.
Yeah, and during your build step, you can push units from your build zone. That's the zone right behind your arena, and you can push them into the arena. You basically can move units into the arena during your build zone. Also, if you had like piloted units, which we haven't covered, those can also change zones as well. They can actually pilot a ship or move into a different arena.
Okay, so Masameda is going to damage himself to give me an extra build point, since that's what he does, and I have to do that during the build step. And I'm just going to use all 3 of those points on another Commerce Guild ship.
Ugh. Okay.
So that's another one of those ion cannon critical hit guys.
Yeah, and so I
And
want to
I'm
also
done.
make it a point, and this is something with deck building that I think gets lost by a lot of people. It's very easy to build a deck where you put too many units that are too expensive. Like I said, you only get whatever that die rolls every turn after setup. So because that was only a 2, she was able to deploy another unit. If I don't have a cheap unit here that costs 3, I'm not deploying. I'm just going to sit here. She's going to get a unit in play, and I'm not adding to the board, which is giving her an advantage. So it's important to have a mixture of, like I said, your core units that cost, I would consider a core unit something
Like
that costs 5 to 6 build,
Yeah.
and then supporting units that are 4 or less. Because between 2 and 4 is where you're going to get build points
More often
more
than
often
not.
than not.
Yeah.
There are those variance games, like on stream on TC, Zach was losing badly to a Darth Maul deck, but as the light side player, Zach couldn't roll dice to attack for the life of him. But for build, he rolled a 5 or a 6 every turn, and the dark side player just ran out of units to play because all he had were these expensive duplicate copies of like balls and other things.
Sure.
And Zach was just putting little turd
Chuds
units
out.
in play,
Yeah.
and eventually he just wore him down. So
Death by 1,000 cuts.
death by 1,000 cuts. All right, so I get 2 points. I assume. Hold on. So you spent your 2 points. Are you using any abilities, like you're using your reek or anything like that? Probably not.
No, it's fine.
You're just gonna attack with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's. I can go then. All right. I'm gonna draw a card. So, ooh, that's a great card, and I cannot build it. Okay. So I'm just going to take these 2 points and add them to the card I was building. So now I have 3. I'm not deploying anything. So like I said, she is going to get an advantage. There still is not a great reason for me to fight in this arena, but I'm going to push my guys in anyways. And the reason for that is if you don't push your guys in, right, your opponent has information knowing, oh, well, they're not in the arena, I can do whatever. And it doesn't really matter in this game, but I prefer usually to push my guys in and then still retreat them. There are instances when you wouldn't do that. There are certain cards like the droid control ship, or I'm not sure what it's the exact name of it, but there's a droid battleship that prevents all units from retreating. And in that instance, I would just hang back here. But I'm safe to push them back in and then decide, because she has to retreat first. So she's giving me information.
Correct.
So there's no reason for me to not push in, see what she retreats, and then decide what I retreat.
Yep.
So your retreat.
Okay, I'm just retreating Masameda.
Yeah, shocker. And we're gonna retreat Luke and the Jedi Starfighter. And I have no more retreats, so we're gonna go to battle. So space battle.
Yep.
And you win.
Yep. So I have to tap my units.
Yep. Then ground.
Yep.
Speed check. I have a 50.
50s.
Okay, so you go first twice.
Yep.
Actually, no. Speed check. So this is a good time to show a POP. So we have a speed check. What we're doing is checking to see which unit has the highest speed. No unit's attacking. As the dark side player, she would have the first opportunity to play a card. Do you want to play a card?
No.
You can pass. Okay, so she's going to pass. That's what POP stands for. It stands for play or pass. I'm asking her, do you have anything to play? She says no. I say, well, I have a card to play. I'm going to play a battle card for 2 force called Windu's Solution. Costs me 2 force.
Sad face.
And what it does is it gives one of my units plus 30 speed and 2 attack power. So now I'm at a 70. We're still in the speed check. So my 70 is now faster than your 250s.
Yep.
Which means I get to go first with this unit.
Yep. And roll.
I get to roll 8 dice.
Yep.
Now, it's a little bit overkill, but I don't know if she has a battle card. She might have an awesome battle card to keep this thing alive. So yes, it says I only need 1 damage to kill this, but if she has like a battle card for like the Jedi piloting that prevents 2, I need to hit that thing for at least 3.
And you can play multiple battle cards.
Yeah.
So if I, like those last cards that I used before that prevented a total of 5 damage, if I have both of those in my hand again, I could play both of them on the same attack to prevent 5 damage in one attack.
And that's why having battle cards is so important, because it's hidden information. You don't know. You have to make decisions guessing what your opponent might have in your hand. So I am actually going to not take any chances, and I'm going to roll 8 dice, 6 for the card and 2 for the Windu's Solution. I'm going to roll 8 dice, and I just want to get rid of that skiff.
Okay.
Oops. And I got 3 hits, which is terrible.
Except I don't have a battle card, so he's going to die.
And so here's why I'm telling you I think that's terrible.
Because if I had a high-speed dodge,
There's
I
a
prevent
card
all
called
of it.
High-Speed Dodge for 1 force that prevents 3 damage to a unit that has 50 speed.
Which is one of the cards I played in the last turn.
So I really wanted 4 hits here, so I could guarantee if she had that card, it would die. Luckily, she doesn't have it.
Yeah, so it dies.
And you see, I rolled 8 dice there. I only got 3 hits.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a waste. I probably needed all of that, most likely. I
Just
didn't
in
know.
case, yeah.
Just in case, but he's going to get...
But he didn't know I didn't have a battle card, so...
I didn't know. Now, another speed check. She's got a 50 still, so
Yep.
the Reek is going to go.
Yep, the Reek's going to go. He's just going to roll 2 dice at the Jedi Heroes.
Okay.
Missed.
Okay. And then 40 speed is still her. She's got 3 attackers. I've got 2, but Darkside wins ties, so all 3 of those little guys are going to go. And here's where the 6s come, people.
Yeah, well, we're going to still just try and
Yep.
get rid of that guy. Missed again.
Ooh, okay.
This is bad, guys.
1 6 can make up for that. There it is.
Okay,
That's
well.
3. So, in order to save him, again, it's 3 damage. I
Yep.
can evade. I can spend 2 force to evade 1.
Yep.
Still dealing me 2. I would need another card. Even if I had it, I don't know if I'd spend it. I'm just gonna let this guy die.
Okay.
He did his duty.
Yep. And then the last guy is just going to go at this
Yeah.
Coruscant shuttle. Nothing.
Okay.
And sometimes dice are sad.
Well, realistically though, it's kind of sad because like you rolled 6 dice and you got 3 damage because of the critical. So
Yeah.
it seemed like that was a awful roll.
Oh, yeah.
But you did actually hit 50%.
Well, I mean, damage-wise, I did that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Garrett says I need to work on my dice rolling.
Yeah.
Garrett, this is just a long-standing thing. I roll dice statistically worse than most humans.
Yeah,
It's
Andrea
just
has
a known
a
thing.
dice rolling deficiency. But you know what? She apparently it doesn't matter that much because she's still pretty good at this game, and I'm still not winning yet.
Sometimes players can beat players.
All right, so I'm gonna. The next most annoying thing for me is those commerce skill droids. So I'm gonna roll 3 dice at it.
Eric, it's just literally called Skiff. The card that Ron just killed is called Skiff.
Yep, it's from Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
It's an uncommon. So
You
it's not
don't
even a rare.
need to buy it.
Also, just so you guys know, I didn't explain this in deck building. Majority of my decks are commons and uncommons.
Yeah.
Like, majority of them. There are rares in them. Many of them are inexpensive. And honestly, majority of the decks are still uncommon. So, for instance, the ground unit I showed here. Right now I have 2 rares in play.
Yeah.
It's the Coruscant shuttles.
Right.
But
that's also because you tutored for
the
them. Well, you went to search for them.
My
so,
point
yeah.
was that the Anakin's Pod Racer is an uncommon.
Yeah.
The Jedi Patrol is an uncommon. The Jedi Heroes is an uncommon.
Yeah.
All the cards are uncommon in my whole ground except for 1 card. All right,
I'm just trying to say, like, I don't think I even have rares on the board right now.
Yeah, you do. Those are
just
actually
these.
rares.
Oh, wow, those are rares.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
All
Yeah,
right,
otherwise.
every card you have in
Moss
play,
is a rare.
Moss is a rare, but
Yeah.
almost 80% of your 80-90% of your cards are all uncommon.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna roll 3 dice at the common skill droid, and I got 1 hit. And if I get a miracle, 3 for 3. Oh, that's a miracle! 3 for 3.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
killed
win.
it. You killed it.
Sometimes, guys, it's
Congratulations.
better to be lucky than good.
Uh,
But here comes the 8 dice crack.
yeah.
And I decided to lose another ship. So the whole point of me playing in ground was to kill enough of her stuff that I could win another arena. So we'll see if that worked. What did you roll? 8?
6.
6. So I can evade 1 and take 5. Alright, let me get some dead.
Okay. Num 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 num.
Yeah, Patrol Mode Vulture Droid, no joke.
Alright.
So we get a character?
Yep.
I got nothing to do.
Yep.
I'll gain my force point at the end of the step.
Yep.
And I won this, you won that, no one won this, so we're gonna move on. Ready phase and ready our cards.
You're right, Garrett. I still rolled a lot of 3s even in that. I need units with accuracy.
Alright. So I'm gonna roll for build. Light side player, gain 4 force points.
Yeah.
So this is gonna make a 6, and I'll turn that to the 5. Roll for build. I got a 2.
2 again.
Yep, so
Alright. So I draw a card.
yep. And this is where you guys are going to see the power of Masameda.
Yeah.
I'm only rolling a crappy 2 for build. She is going to push that Masameda in. And,
Yes, correct. He's in the arena.
And then she's going to use him to gain another point. So she's going to get 3 points.
Yep.
And her annoying deck, all 4 commerce skill droids.
Yep.
Are you serious?
All 4. And then we're going to tap Reek to draw a card
That is really bad.
and discard a card. I'm discarding Darth Tyrannus because it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to play him anytime soon.
Alright. I think I'm losing this game. I think there's only 1 card that might save me. Let's have a little trivia contest. I think there's 1 card in this deck that could get me back in this game. So in the chat, if you know what that 1 card is that I'm thinking of, I'd like to see who knows it. So put it in chat. All right, my turn. All right, I'm gonna draw a card. Remember when I said it was better to be lucky than be good?
Did you draw it?
I drew the 1 card I was looking for.
Luke B.
Nope. All right, so build points. So I have 2. I'm going to spend 1 build point to put 4 on here, or put 1 on here to make it 4. 4 will complete it and get me a little Obi-Wan Starfighter. And I'm just going to put it directly into the arena, and I'm going to put these guys in the arena as well, because I'm probably going to die here. So, okay. And I have 1 point left. I think the best thing
I'm
right
curious
now...
what it was. That's not
Oh, you're going to see
loopy.
it.
Oh, okay.
Alright, I'm going to play 1 point on Lando system.
Uh-huh.
This is a
So go
mission
look
card.
for...
I
Yeah.
can search for a location, which is pretty good because no one's got one yet.
Yep.
So I might be able to get an advantage out of something.
Yep. And then it goes to your hand.
It goes to my hand.
But, so you're not going to be able to play it because you're out of build.
Correct. So I'm just going to search for a card, reveal it. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, so I'm going to search, and I have to reveal it because I'm searching for a specific type of card. So I'm going to reveal Mustafar Battlegrounds. Mustafar Battlegrounds is a rare location that can be played in the character arena, or it can be played in the ground arena. And what it does is, during the at the start of the battle step, in the arena where this card is placed, so if I place it here or I place it there, put 1 damage counter on each unit in that arena. So I could put this in the ground arena, and then every turn during the start of the battle, all
Everything
of Andrea's
burns.
units is going to take 1 damage.
Yeah.
It's really good. If I can live long enough to not get killed. So I'm going to take that card, put it in my hand. I don't have any build points left because I used it to search for that card. And
Nobody knows what can save you.
nobody knows. I'm shocked. We're going to find out. You're going to see me play it. So, all right, here we go. We are going to go to battle. Actually, retreats. I apologize.
Yes,
Dark
retreats.
side, do you want to retreat, Masameda?
Yeah, that's what he does.
All right. And light side, do you want to retreat? I am not going to retreat. I'm going to stay in every arena. Last man standing.
Okay.
All right. So space it is. Speed check. We have 260 speeders. You're up.
Yep. All right. So these guys have critical hit 1, so their 6s count for a total of 2. They also have pay 1 and intercept. So he is going to roll 3 dice. They have 3 power and 2 health. We're going to roll 3 dice, and I don't really care about the critical hit on Obi because, I mean, my guys are all like 1 or 2 health anyway. So I think...
The one advantage to going at Obi-Wan is that he has no evasion. So if
Right.
you roll 3, you can just kill him.
Right, but I mean, I'm only rolling 3 dice, so the odds of that are not great.
Well, you could roll a 6 and any other damage.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's
true.
possible.
Yeah.
That's just one of the advantages.
Oh.
You probably don't care about Luke's X-Wing.
No, because I'm going to try to droid
missile
muscle it. Right, exactly.
So you just want to roll at one of these.
So I think...
Either one is...
I think we're going to go here for the same reason of I might need multiple turns. Because it has an evade, it's probably going to take me a little time to try to get it off the board, even if I do.
Yeah, but this one has no evade. You could go with both and kill it before it rolls.
Well, I guess that's true.
Statistically, rolling at something with no evade and the same health, you're more likely
Yeah,
to kill this than
that's true. I guess so. I guess we'll go
The
with
only
that one.
downside is if you roll really terrible and you roll like a 1 on each one,
Yeah,
then the damage comes off and you undid your work.
Correct. But, I mean, if I roll a 1 anyway, it's
just
a
gonna
pay
evade.
evade
It's the same
anyway.
thing.
So, all right. Well, I rolled 0.
Okay.
3s, Garrett. 3 threes.
That's our favorite number. So now you definitely want to roll at this.
Correct.
Because most likely not going to kill it.
Correct, so I'm gonna roll here.
Maybe at least waste the
Yeah.
first point.
And more 3s again.
More
I
3s.
really need accuracy. So 1 damage.
Yeah,
That's
I
terrible.
think I will pay 1 force
Yeah.
and evade 1 damage.
Seemed good.
Okay. So now it's my turn.
Yep.
So speed check 60. I'm going to roll 3 dice, and I'm going to attempt to roll at the missile.
So this is where I'm going to use my activated ability on my TIE fighter. So I'm going to pay 1 force and make him attack my TIE fighter. I'm sorry, my TIE interceptor instead.
Okay. So I'm going to roll 3. And I'm rolling at the TIE interceptor.
Correct.
And, ooh. All right.
2.
So I actually got 3
Oh, no,
hits.
3 because it's critical.
So, yeah. So this unit has critical hit
Oh,
1.
4. You have
Yeah.
accuracy too.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
So this unit
All
has
right.
critical hit 1.
Yeah.
So that's 2 damage.
Yep.
It has a regular 5, and I rolled a 3. It has accuracy. The 3 counts, so 4 damage.
Yep.
So wipe out
So
that
he's dead.
little missile.
Yep.
Then I have
Speed check again, 50.
Another speed check. Oh, 50. Yeah, you get to go first.
Yep.
Can't do anything about that. So.
Yep. So did you get the disrupt card? That's going to make that card fizzle? Okay.
Nope.
All right. So his triggered ability is discard this unit from the space arena, put 3 damage counters on a unit in the space arena, play only when this unit would attack, and now he's attacking. So we're going to go ahead and just try to put 3 on Luke's X-Wing because he is the freaking worst.
And I don't have an answer, so sadly he's just dead. Which, you know, even if she does lose that last interceptor to my 2 guys, these guys are really not. They're not the greatest. Those.
Yeah, my ion cannons hopefully can do some damage.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna roll 3 with my Jedi Starfighter at that guy.
Yep.
And I got 3 hits.
All right.
So boom.
Bye.
Before I use this guy, I'm actually gonna play the card that I drew, which is called Lightsaber Quick Draw. So this is a battle card. I can play it at any time during a player pass, which is via speed check. And it basically says, choose a character arena or the ground arena. Now I can play this card at any time. It doesn't because it's being used in that arena doesn't mean I have to play it during that step, that battle. So I'm playing choose. I'm gonna read the text because it's a little confusing. Because basically what this does is I choose a character arena or the ground arena where I have a Jedi unit. So this is a Jedi unit, this is a Jedi unit. She doesn't have anything in character, so I'm obviously going to choose ground. I get to reveal a unit card from my hand. I'm going to reveal Padme Amidala. I get to roll 4 dice of damage at all of Andrea's units that have speed less than the unit card I revealed. So she has 60 speed, so anything with less than 60 speed, I get to roll 4 dice at each unit. So this is the card that I was thinking that would get me back into the game, because I might be able to put enough damage on all these guys that it could maybe either take some of them out or weaken them enough that my Mustafar Battlegrounds can kill them, and I won't lose in the ground. At least I won't lose the game.
Yeah.
So this card is actually not being played, I'm just revealing it for the speed. So I'm going to roll 4 dice. I'm going to start on the reek. So we're going to roll. Oh, and I have to pay for this card. It costs 3 force.
Yep.
So let's knock this down to 2. And let's do 4 there.
0.
And I got
1.
1 hit. You can't see the one that fell off camera. Then I'm going to roll 4 at the first. You don't have to tap it.
Yeah.
4 at that one. And
1.
I got 1 hit. I'm going to roll 4 at the other one. I got 3 hits. Okay. And then we'll roll 4 at the other one. 4 hits. Ooh, that's good.
Yep, I don't have battle cards, so it
Okay.
dies.
And then now, this one has shields.
Correct.
But shields only prevents damage from an attack. This is just dice of damage. It means I just roll a certain amount of dice and deal damage equal to the dice rolled. So it doesn't count as attack, so shields don't prevent this. And I got 2. So for this 1 3/4, I got to roll what 15 dice or 16 dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
5 times
4,
4,
20 dice. Yeah. All right, so
That's how math works.
all right, so
All
now
right.
this Starfighter taps, so there's nothing to attack. I'm gonna put this Padme back in my hand. We go to ground.
Yep.
And you get to beat me up.
Yep. So speed check. I have 2 40s still now, and he has the 140. So unless he's going to play another pump card, my 40s are going to go.
And she's got an interesting choice here. So all those guys are pretty close to dead.
Yeah.
She can choose to ion cannon me and then risk this guy going and killing one before he gets killed by the patrol mode. Or she could just try to take this guy out before the patrol mode goes.
I'm just going to try to take this guy out because I would rather keep them alive.
Yep.
And even if it's a wasted thing against him.
And just because I play the Mustafar Battlegrounds doesn't necessarily mean it'll stay there the whole game. She might be able to kill it.
1.
Oh, there's 3.
Oh yeah, that is 3.
That's
I'm sorry.
3.
Yeah.
So critical at 3.
Yep.
I'll pay 1 force.
To evade 1.
To evade 1, and I'll take 2, see if I can stay alive.
Yep. Other guys going there.
Yeah, no more 6s. Actually, you kind of earned it if you get 6s. You've been rolling bad.
1.
1? Alright, I'm going to do it.
Sad.
Alright, so pay 1, evade 1.
Yep.
So I'm going to live, and I'm gonna try to roll 3 dice at that guy that has
1 health left.
Actually, no, I don't care about the guy that has 1 health. I'm gonna go with the guy that has 2 health. Get greedy.
He has 3 health.
3 health. Sorry. Yep, this one.
Okay. Why would you do that?
Because I have Mustafar Battlegrounds.
Oh, okay.
And if I can pull it off, I can kill 2 at 1 stone.
Okay.
All right, patrol mode. Dead?
Yeah. 7.
Yeah, that's fair. He's dead.
There's all my 6s.
There's all your good rolls.
God damn it.
Alright, so we go to character. I have nothing, so I'm going to tap. Mace Windu gives me 1 force at the end of the round, and then we go to ready phase, and we ready. Alright, this game is nearing its end. I'm going to roll. I get a 3 for build, and we each gain 4 force.
Yep.
So, no one had a unit in every arena, so we each gain 3.
Yep.
And Andrea gets to go first and draw a card.
So I draw a card.
So here's some interesting sidebar when you're thinking about strategy. Andrea knows, what she knows is that I have a Mustafar Battleguards in my hand.
Mm-hmm. When does that trigger again, by the way?
It triggers at the start of the battle phase.
At the start of the battle phase.
Correct. It only
so I have no opportunity to get rid of it on the first turn.
That's not true. There is a battle card that can get rid of it, or there is a battle card that can disrupt a location. You don't have it.
I don't have it. So I have no way of... So it's going off.
It's probably going to go off. Now...
That's a problem.
Yes. Now, because you know that I have it in my hand, and you know it only does damage to units that are in the arena, you can retreat these units so it doesn't kill them. But then it doesn't mean I'm not getting Ion Cannon, which is the whole point of me getting that card.
Right. Alright, so...
But if you tap your Reek to draw a card, he'll be in the arena, he'll die.
Correct. But I have to keep somebody in.
Right, which you could keep that patrol mode that has 8 health, and I'm obviously not
not attacking it, yeah.
And it'll only take 1 damage. It'll take 6 turns to kill that.
Correct. Alright, so... We are just going to damage Moss.
The reason I was saying this is Andrea, as the dark side player, if she has a location for a ground in her hand, she can start building it now. So that next turn, after I play the Mustafar, which I'm going to play, because I have 3, I'm going to play it, she can prep that card to get it ready for the next turn.
Correct.
What's the question?
Sorry, I was just looking into what gear. So, am I missing something? Doesn't Ron win this turn? No, he doesn't, because we are Oh, he did.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that Moss was not in the arena.
Because the Moss wasn't in the arena. You're totally right, Garrett.
Good call.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, because this is such a small board, I kind of forgot that he was retreated.
He wasn't there.
Yeah, so yes, you're right. Ron has won because he took out
space.
All of my space units.
Yep. It was a moot point.
Yep, it was a moot point.
All right.
That is correct.
So that game was not looking good for me.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I didn't have... Yeah, I fizzled out and didn't have enough units to...
And honestly, the card that won me that game was not the lightsaber quick draw, but it was the Coruscant shuttles.
Correct. 100%.
Because they allowed me to get enough units into an arena to deal with... It was
I wasn't firing into space like I wanted.
It was exactly the game plan I wanted. It was, I'm going to stall in this ground arena until I can win the space arena.
Yep.
Now, that plan could have backfired for me if Andrea was able to deploy into space. Or, honestly, there was one mistake that she made with the Palpatine.
I didn't know what your mace did.
She didn't know what the mace did. And honestly, what she should have done is the turn she had that she should have just retreated that Sidious, built up some force, and then on the next turn, you could have kept that live Sidious, used his force ability to deal 3 damage to one of my units, and you could have killed that unit before it got to Windu Solution and kill your skiff, and all things would have been completely a different game.
Yes, not knowing that what Mace did and you rolling an extra 8 dice was definitely a huge game changer for sure.
So, wow.
Uh,
I'm glad Claire caught our
yeah,
mistake.
yeah. We're playing on such a little surface that
Yeah, I
got
kind of forgot
distracted.
that it was
Yeah,
just not there.
yeah.
Yep, he won.
Alrighty, so we can change it up.
Yeah, do people want us to play a
Um,
rematch, or do they want us to see
no,
different
so
decks?
Garrett wanted to see some creature decks,
Okay,
and if we have a Light Side Pilot deck,
we do. We have both. We can
so we
play them
can
against each
we
other.
can do that.
All right, so I think it'd probably be easier for Andrea to play the light side pilot deck because she'd be pretty familiar.
I
So
mean,
here's a
it's
pilot.
fine.
It's, the Rebel Heroes deck.
I,
It's all the pilots.
I mean, that's fine. I don't think I've ever played it, but that's fine.
Yeah, but you've played the Falcon and you've piloted the Falcon. And
I mean, it's fine. I
all
can
right,
figure
so
it out.
creatures. I hope Eric's still watching.
I think so. I have no idea. Eric, are you excited to watch the creatures?
So creatures deck. This deck's really powerful.
It is very
This
powerful.
could be a very lopsided game.
Thankfully, I know how to deal with that
The creature
deck.
deck, in my opinion, for the dark side, is probably one of the best swarm style decks that you can play. This deck pressures you in a lot of angles. It pressures you with lots of dice, pressures you with lots of health, pressures you with force drain, or force restriction, really. So we'll see what happens here. This is another deck that not very rare intensive. The rares that are in the deck are pretty cheap. Genoshan Picadors, you can probably get those for $0.25. What are you laughing at?
Garrett says your deck is super broken.
My deck is super broken.
Yeah, the creatures deck. It's not that broken.
It's pretty bad.
It's strong, but it's not.
I don't know. This is probably like if you were to play in a tournament.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what creatures did,
It can
feel
definitely
pretty
sneak
bad.
out some wins for sure.
This
If people don't
this
know.
is a very, very, very powerful deck, and you guys are gonna see. Like in that last game, we were playing kind of more, I would say, standard decks. They were pretty straightforward. They were just playing units and attacking with them. These decks are gonna, especially this deck, and your deck, they're gonna start using a little more combos, and we're gonna see. This is gonna be an interesting match.
I'm right. So,
There is the chance that Andrea just builds up a Millennium Falcon with all the right pilots and just blows me out of the water. So, one thing about this game, the difference between a tier 1 deck, meaning like the best deck, and the not best decks,
So I'm just mulliganing one guard, guys.
is not very much. Tier 1, tier 2, the decks are pretty close. You can still beat people.
All right, so now I'm the light side player and Ron is the dark side player.
Yep.
And I have to read what all these cards are because I haven't played this deck before.
Yeah, so the whole goal of Andrea's deck, she's playing what I would call a Rebel Heroes deck. It is consisting of literally all the main characters from the movies. Lando, Han, Luke, Chewie, Leia, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO. And she's using Han Solo, I believe H or a K. I think it's Han Solo K. It's a 9-cost Han Solo from the Revenge of the Sith, or I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi set. And what it does is it gives all of your Rebel characters and all of your Rebel ground units Lucky 2 as long as he's in play, which is really good. Lucky 2 allowing you to re-roll all of your attacks and force your opponent to re-roll all of their attacks against you. Not all, but re-roll 2. It's a very, very powerful ability. And the rest of her deck is full of Rebel characters, many of which can pilot her space units, and a ton of Rebel ground units. So, typically when you're playing creatures, whoever wins the ground arena will often win against the creature deck, because the whole engine that creatures are putting together is usually in the ground arena. They're and we'll explain what the engine is. All right, so I'll draw 7. Did you already mulligan?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 7 cards. And I'm going to just mulligan 1 card, draw a new card, and we're using that modified test mulligan. I just shuffle the card back in my deck. And it might seem like I'm shuffling a little longer than normal, but it looks like a lot of these decks were sorted. And I'm not sure why, but there was probably a reason why.
You were probably going through them.
Probably going through
Tweaking
a
the
list,
decks.
tweaking them. I'm not really sure. So, alright, I have 7 cards.
Yep.
I'm the dark side player. I'm going to play first.
Yep.
So, I'm going to play one of the first cards for my combo, Geonosian Picadors. It's 2 build. It is not a creature. Everyone thinks it's a creature, but it's not a creature. And what it does is it gives all of my creature units +1 power.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to draw a new card.
Yep. So I am going to play a Rebel Troop card, which is 3. It says each Rebel ground unit costs 1 fewer build counter to deploy. That doesn't count for setup. It's only during actual turns.
Exactly, because during setup, like we said, all of this text does not matter. It's essentially blank.
Yep.
Alright, so she's got that. I'm going to play a Cohoon. So I'm the dark side now. So we're going to flip where the characters in Arena was. So I'm the dark side, so my characters are going to go here.
Yep.
And Andrea's light tower is going to mirror me. So this is 2. I'm going to go to 4. And I'm going to draw a card.
Okay.
And this is one of the strengths of the creature deck. All my units are so cheap that I can often deploy 7, 8, 9 cards during setup. And I can have a very consistent setup where I can really react to where she's deploying and deploy my threats to overwhelm her in a particular arena.
So I'm not going to be cute. I'm just going to play Millennium Falcon D for 8.
Okay.
Because I know that that's a really important part of my deck, like we've said before. So I'm just going to get it out there.
Alright. So I'm going to go, and I'm just going to play a Minoc in space for 2 points, because I really don't have all the pieces in my combo yet. So I'm just going to play as many cheap cards as I can so I can kind of set myself up. So I'm at 6.
Yep.
I got to keep going. She's at 11.
Yep.
I drew one of my combo cards, so I'm not going to be cute. This is Malakili. He is the kind of the creature master. He's what makes the whole deck chime, and he costs 6. So 6, draw a card.
Okay. So I'm going to deploy another one of these Rebel Troop card guys.
Okay.
And be done.
Alright, so that puts you at what, 14? Or no, 11
Plus 3.
14.
Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. This really isn't part of my combo, but I want more creatures, so I'm going to play this for 3. And draw a card.
Cohoons are so annoying.
12, I'm at 15.
Yep.
You're at 12, 14, so you're up. So a Cohoon
Yeah, it's
has
just
a replacement effect that says when this card would attack, I can discard it to deal 5 damage to another character instead.
I'm trying to remember if it's a. Is there anything that gives it plus speed in this deck?
Yeah. No.
Just plus power.
Yeah, just plus power.
Okay.
Which is irrelevant because it just wants to sacrifice itself.
Well, it's relevant for me because I want to be able to kill it before it goes and discards and deals.
No,
damage.
I'm saying the power is irrelevant.
Correct. Power on that particular dude is irrelevant.
On this unit, the power doesn't do
That's
anything.
why I was asking about speed bumps.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'm going to do 1 on another Falcon. Draw a card.
So what Andrea did was she stacked a Falcon, a different version Falcon, under the one she had in play, for only 1 point. It allows her to essentially look at another card in her deck for only 1 point.
Yep. And then I'm gonna I'm at 15.
So while she's kind of thinking,
I'm gonna play Han for 9.
9. Ooh, that's a lot.
It is a lot, but
Okay, so where does that put you to?
26.
26. Okay.
I'm sorry, 24, not 26.
24. Okay.
Draw a card.
All right, so my turn. So here's the funny thing about the Han Solo deck. None of the characters really have a lot of activated abilities. There isn't a lot of evade. So right now she's got 4 units in play. None of them have activated abilities.
Correct.
I have one of the best creature cards in my hand. It's a Nexu. I could play it, and its ability is, as long as he's in the character arena, activated abilities of my opponents cost 1 more force to play.
Yeah.
But Han doesn't have any,
Yep.
and none of her stuff does.
Correct.
So literally, it's just an expensive creature that without a cool ability.
Correct.
So I still might play it because I don't have a lot of other options. So I think that's kind of what's happening. So I'm going to play this. That costs 5, so let's make that 3, 2 more. Draw a card. Oh, now we got the money card. So this is Ore. So Ore is kind of like the main engine of this deck. Every time during the build step, when I can deploy a creature to the table, not to the table, but to the arena, I actually draw a card for Ore. When you get multiple of these in play, it gets silly because you'll play a creature like a Kohun, and then the Ore will trigger, and if there's multiples, I'm drawing multiple cards, and
Yep.
then I'm really overwhelming the arena.
Yep.
So we are tied, so I got to keep going. And I got to draw a card for that Ore, so I should be at 7. Ugh. And I am not in great shape. So, 12, 24. I'm going to put 6 points, and I have to show this because it's the last card, on an Endor Imperial Fleet.
Oy.
So this card,
Okay. Well, that changes what I'm doing.
this card has hidden cost. And when
Yeah, we haven't actually done hitting cost
yes,
yet.
so hidden cost is a keyword ability on a card. And what it says is, it says hidden cost and then a number. The number next to hidden cost is the number of build points that you must have on this card partially built in order to use the hidden cost ability. So this one has hidden cost 3, which means I have to have at least 3 build points on it. Then I could use the hidden cost ability to pay the remaining build points to complete this card with force points instead of build points. So this one has 6 on it. I could pay 4 force points to get to 10 to play this card. Additionally, because it has hidden cost, I can play this card at any time during the battle phase in between a player pass step. So I can wait until after that Falcon attacks and is tapped, and then surprise this Endor fleet like it's a trap, and attack that Falcon before it gets to attack me. So it's a really powerful ability.
Yep. All right, so you're done.
I'm done. That's 30.
Yep. So I am then going to put. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I have 6 left. So
And-
I'm going to put 5 on Luke's B, now that you have shown a fleet. And then I'm going to put my remaining 1 on a snow speeder.
Okay. Do you want to put a red die on there so they don't get confused between damage and build points? Okay, perfect. Alright.
2, 3, 4, 5.
So she's at 30. She's drawn up to her 7. I'm at my 7. So now we're going to... setup is done. Now we're going to the phases. So we're going to start with the ready phase. We're each getting 4 force points. She's gonna she's the light side player, so now she gets to determine our fate, which probably means it's a 1.
Oh!
Oh, they can't see that. Andrea rolled a 6.
So we each get 7,
Yep.
because we both have a unit in each arena.
And this is gonna get silly because we actually both have some build engines in play, so there's a chance that this could be a silly, crazy game.
Yeah.
So dark side player first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna draw a card. Go to 8. Started my build step. I draw.
Yep.
And I have 7 points to play. And wow, is my hand bad. So this is one of the bad parts about playing a deck. Remember I was talking about how you don't like to play you don't like to play four of a particular card. So like for instance the Mace Windu deck, I had two of the Mace A and two of the Mace F because I don't want to have multiples of the same card because it doesn't help me. Right now, I have a couple of cards in this deck where I have four copies in the deck, so I can make sure I have consistency to draw the engine that I have in play. But I have a lot of those copies of cards in my hand. That means I can't deploy them.
Correct.
I have 7 build points. So my turn is not looking so hot. So what's going to happen is I am going to place a build point here. So remove that. I'm going to put 2 build points here. And this is, like I said, the downside to playing a deck where you're really not doing a lot. I'm going to put 1 build point here. Make that a 5. And I'm going to place 4 build points here. So
Alright.
I'm just paying for this fleet.
No.
And what did I have? Yeah. Okay. I have 1 point left to spend, so I'll put it here.
Okay.
This shows you how bad my hand is after setup.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
this is not good. You
No.
don't want to see 5 cards partially built and
Yeah.
deploying none of them.
Yeah.
So you might ask, Ron, you have 10 build points on the Endor Imperial fleet. Why you're not putting that in the arena? That fleet has 10 speed. It can get chewed up by that Luke's X-Wing. It can get chewed up by that Millennium Falcon. What the unit still has is hitting cost. So I can still pay the difference in force.
The difference just happens to be 0.
The difference happens to be 0. I can spend 0 force points, wait until those units tap to attack, and then still get 1 free shot, 1 free swing at her units before she can attack me. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Alright, and I'm done.
Yep. All right. So these Rebel Troop cards, I said before, they reduce the cost of Rebel ground units by 1 each. So my Rebel ground units are reduced by 2 because I have 2 of those. So I'm going to play another one for 1.
Gross. So now
Everything's reduced by 3. So I'm just going to put this into play
for free.
For free for my 1 build point that I already had on it.
Yep.
And then I have 6 build points left. So,
and Han Solo also gives all of those Rebel troop cards and Rebel speeders lucky too.
Correct.
Which is kind of silly.
Power.
Like, but I'm really not threatening her. I only have 2 ground units, so
Yeah.
Normally you would just retreat those ground units every turn just to keep that little engine going.
Right.
But she's probably relatively pretty safe to keep them in play. It's kind of annoying.
All right.
My only hope is that she doesn't really have more ground units to just destroy me.
Yeah, which I don't at the moment. So,
but she does have a lot of way to draw cards, so that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Hopefully, no wedding in Destiny. Or C-3PO to draw cards. There's a lot of things that she could have.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to.
So I can tell you right now, I give you a status update. I am not looking good.
Yeah, you're looking better than
this
you think,
game is looking really bad. The only place I'm doing well is probably Character Arena.
Yeah, characters
but
are doing
it's not
good,
even
but...
great. Like.
All right, so I'm just gonna put the 6 build on a unit.
Well, that's good for me, I guess.
Here.
Wow, she's not playing anything. That's terrible. Okay.
Yep, I told you.
I actually might not be in that bad of a shape. I thought I would be. I was expecting 2 or 3 of those ground units.
It would be nice.
Or a Wedding in Destiny, draw more cards, and then none of that stuff's there. Okay.
Nope.
So we're both having
deck struggles.
Yeah, we're definitely having variance issues with cards in hand.
Garrett asked about Java Sandcrawler, if it's still popular. Oh no, it's still super popular.
Yeah, Java Sandcrawler is still a good card.
It's a neutral unit that taps to draw 2 and discard 2.
Yeah,
So
Jawa
it's very
Sandcrawler,
good.
any card that allows you to manipulate the cards in your hand. Like, I would love a Jawa Sandcrawler right now.
Me too.
I do have Reeks. I do have Reeks in my creature deck for
Yeah.
this exact reason.
Yeah.
Where a Reek is what Andre had in the last game, where
Yeah.
I tap it
Draw 1,
to
discard
draw
1.
one and discard one, and it's a creature.
Yeah.
So it also works in my theme.
Yeah. So yes, sandcrawlers are good. There are some people like Darth Ted that immediately, anytime they were starting a new deck, immediately put 4 copies of sandcrawler in their deck.
It's even worse than that. So Ted thinks Jawa Sandcrawler is the best card of the game. He has reasons why that could be true. When he builds a deck, light side or dark side, every deck starts with 4 Sandcrawlers, foil, and every deck is at, I think, 64 cards. Like, he just, like, basically
He just adds those in.
adds the Sandcrawlers to all the deck. It goes against all of my rules, but I will tell you, he is one of the toughest opponents I always play, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah. He just knows all the cards. Knows
Yeah.
how to play around it. All right, so we are done with build, so it's retreat step for Ron.
Yep, and so I'm going to retreat space because I don't want to get whacked by all that stuff. So I'm going to retreat space because I know that I'm going to hit and cost anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to concede the arena this turn. I'm
Yeah.
just conceding it right now.
Yeah.
The win condition doesn't happen until the end of the turn.
Correct.
So if I was, say I was out of 2 arenas, say I was out of these 2,
Mm-hmm.
I don't lose the game to the end of the turn. So as long as I hit and cost into one of them,
Right.
I'd actually
You're
still be
fine.
in the game.
Yeah.
And I really can't afford to retreat anywhere else because I still have to be in 2 arenas.
Yeah. All right. So it's
I'm
my
just gonna
turn to retreat.
I think I'm just gonna. Well, do I retreat ground? I might retreat ground. That's kind of sad. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna retreat ground as well
Okay.
because I know I'm gonna hit and cost. You can't really stop that.
Yep.
And there's no reason. I have no place to put my build zone is so full.
Just put it.
I'm
in the
gonna
back,
put it
it's
in the
fine.
back. And I'm just gonna be odd and only have characters and
For
hope
the
I don't
moment.
lose.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to decide whether or not, knowing that Imperial fleet is going to come out, do I want to try and make you direct that attack at the Falcon instead of Luke?
Yeah, that's a tough decision. So the Falcon, it
Especially
doesn't
since
have
you-
any evasion, but the Falcon does have armor.
It has armor,
which means that
and it's stacked, so it's still 5, and it has shields.
it has shields. So I'm only going to roll 7 dice instead of 8,
Yeah.
and I'm only going to hit on a 5 or a 6.
Correct.
Whereas Luke's X-Wing is only has 3 health, but it does automatically prevent the first 2 damage.
Right.
But I'm also rolling 8, so I could just get lucky. If I roll 5 out of 8, the
Yeah.
Luke's X-Wing, unless she has a battle card, it would just die, and we don't.
Right.
And I don't know that.
Right.
So
And I don't have any battle cards in my hand to protect him, and he's my best chance at killing that fleet, I think. So
you-
I'm going to retreat Luke.
that's smart. Okay, so she's done her retreats. I've done mine. So
Yep.
now we're gonna go to the battle phase. And space speed check. She's got nothing. It's a tap. I'm gonna do the hidden cost. So I'm gonna remove these 10 counters. I'm gonna put a fleet into play, untapped. And since I haven't attacked yet, I actually can swing. So I'm gonna tap this fleet. I'm gonna roll 7 dice at the Falcon because the Falcon has shields.
Yep.
And I'm looking for 5s and 6s because the Falcon has armor.
Yep.
Which probably not too many.
Eee.
Oh, actually, wow.
Oh my god,
What
really?
Woohoo! I'm just a better dice roller. That's all that matters, right, guys?
Apparently.
So yeah,
And this one it does 5.
that's 5. That
So you exactly killed
I
it.
exactly kill it.
I think we probably can concede this game right now.
It's not over yet. the funny part is the Luke's X-Wing can still kill.
It can still kill that
yeah,
thing.
that was a big. But
But
was a big blow.
that was wow.
Yeah.
That's
That was crazy.
so bad
Mm-hmm.
because now this is irrelevant that I have 6 built on.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll find out.
That is
All right, so we're gonna go to
really, really bad.
That was a really lucky roll.
Really, really bad.
All right, so we're gonna
All
go to ground. Ground
Yeah.
has nothing, so she's tapping.
Correct.
Then we go to character and speed check. I have a 50. She has a 50.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna attack Han,
Yep.
and I have Malakili gives all of my creatures +1 power, +1 health, and pay 1 force to intercept. I'm not intercepting, but I'm gonna get 1 extra power.
He gives him intercept?
Yeah, everything. That's how the whole deck
Oh,
works.
I've just lost.
No, you didn't lose.
How have I not lost? You're going to intercept my attack at Han and kill Han. And
Do you have 0 battle cards in hand?
0.
Oh, then yeah, you're gonna lose for sure.
I've lost. Reroll your 2 6s.
Yeah, because he has lucky. Alright. And I get 3 hits.
And he does not have evade, so he's taken 3.
Yep. And then
he rolls his attack.
Yep. And obviously going to try to attack the Kohun.
Obviously, which
and then I will pay 1 force to intercept with the next.
Yep, which I didn't realize that he could do that.
So you have 0 battle cards.
I have 0 battle cards.
All right. Well, yeah. Then you're screwed.
Yeah, that's why I said.
So here's why. She's going to attack here. I'm going to intercept.
Yep.
And we're going to play it out so people can see. You have. Oh no, the 3. You have accuracy.
Oh yes, I do have accuracy.
So the 3 is a hit. So she's going to roll her misses. She's got 3 hits. She's got 4 hits. 4 hits will kill the Nexu. So he's dead. Now, the Kohun gets to go. And this is why she said he can discard himself to deal 5 damage.
Yep.
Ignores the lucky. Kills Han Solo. I've won this arena, and I've won this arena.
Yep.
It's a really odd game because we both kind of got screwed. So just to show you why I thought I was actually going to lose this game. So here's all the cards I was building. I was building a mission card that I can kill one of my guys to build points. I was building a location to play more creatures for cheaper, but I had no creatures in my hand. I was building the same location again.
Just in case I destroyed it.
Just in case you destroyed it.
Yeah, for one.
And then I was building another this guy because I literally had the only cards left in my hand were another copy of Malakili.
Yeah.
And 3 battle cards that made me attack more.
Yeah.
So this is the downside to playing multiple copies of a card is that you get stuck with cards and you can't play them.
Yeah.
So I literally had 5 dead cards in my hand. At that point.
Yeah. So what I was building was a Chewie.
Which would have
piloted the Falcon, but you had to perfect kill
He would have been fine in character though. Because he has a big ass and he can attack.
Yeah.
And he has retaliate, which is relevant.
And then I had another copy of Han, same problem as you.
Same problem as me, yep.
And then I had Luke piloting for speeders, but I wasn't really. That was a lot of build to try.
So I actually would have played him because you could have kept him in the character arena. It would have been another character.
I didn't realize that those stupid Malakili gave creatures intercept. Yeah. Otherwise, I would.
We haven't played in a while, so yeah, you didn't know that. That's fine. What else did you have in your hand? What other options? Ooh, Han's Promise.
Which I had no cards in my discard pile until just now.
Because you didn't have a Jawa Sandcrawler,
right. A location for Force, which was kind of irrelevant, and then a Leia.
Yeah, so, yeah, you didn't have a lot of options. I think the one mistake that you made was actually playing the Millennium Falcon, the big one. So the one that cost 8 points. It's really expensive, and you are really committing to an arena. You had the cheaper one underneath it, I think, that could attack my characters. It looks in your discard.
Yes, it is, yes.
So I would have probably just
swapped it during my build.
I would have swapped it A during your build step, and B, I would have played that one first.
I didn't have this one first.
Okay. Well, I still wouldn't have played the 8-drop one. It's just very expensive, and you had other options. Like Leia would have been a better option.
Not when you have Kohuns.
Well, the more dudes you play, the more you can attack the
right,
creature.
But
I understand
the problem is that she had less speed than your stupid Kohun.
That's right, but then I'm using the Kohun to kill this instead of Han Solo or instead of Luke Skywalker. I'm just explaining.
I get it, but
these
are so expensive.
Right. Well, let's play again because that was a terrible game.
Yeah.
Let's play this decks again, and people can actually see what the decks do because honestly, neither deck did its thing.
Yeah. Like I said, everything was so expensive. I didn't really.
Yeah. Well, also these decks. So like I said, these decks before we started playing, they were sorted. So there could have been some just terrible variants because the decks weren't very randomized.
Yeah.
And we definitely saw examples of that. So I'm just gonna pile shuffle. Pile shuffling really doesn't truly randomize your deck, but I feel like I think it's just more of a mental thing that. If I have a really bad draw, I kind of want to pile shuffle to like spread out all the cards. I only do one pile shuffle, and Mostly because, like, in competitive games, I think they only allow one. But I only do one. And then I just riffle shuffle and side shuffle and all that stuff. By the way, I'm really sad that Fantasy Flight Games doesn't make sleeves anymore. I really love all these Star Wars sleeves. These are all the original Star Wars sleeves that FFG released. And when they came out, I thought Andrea was going to kill me. Because I went to a store and I bought a box of each type of sleeve. I think I dropped like $300 on sleeves.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because
I mean, I think you bought 2 cases of sleeves
one
online.
thing that every single Star Wars game, card game especially, was missing until Fantasy Flight Games was peripherals for your game. They never made Star Wars like deck boxes like they make Magic deck boxes. They never made Star Wars sleeves. They never made any of that cool stuff to like swag around, like Magic and all these other games has always had. So when FFG made sleeves, I was like, I'm getting a ton of sleeves, and I'm sleeving all of my Star Wars TCG decks. That was like 6-7 years ago.
Oh, that was like 10 years ago.
And I am almost out of these sleeves.
Yeah.
So I did get value out of my $300, but that just shows you what kind of nut I am. So are you guys enjoying the stream? Is there anything that we could be doing better other than having better quality where you can actually see the cards and there isn't a glare? I would like to know. Please post it in the Discord. Or post it in the stream would be even better. Also, if you're not a part of our community, we have 2 places that we meet up. On Facebook, if you just look in Facebook groups for SWTCG, Star Wars TCG group, it's just SWTCG. There's about 100 of us in that group. It's a way we communicate, share posts. I post deck articles, strategy articles, trade articles, all kinds of stuff. We also have a Discord for the Star Wars trading card game. There is a link to the Discord on our Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to find it, which will invite you to the Discord. You can also message me, Ron Longy, just Ron Longy, LONGHI, on Facebook. I will send you anything. I will also be doing more videos. I think pretty much Andrea and I decided if we're playing a game at the house, there's no reason for us to not stream it, because we would just be doing this anyways.
Once we actually figure out how to get a good stream set up.
Yeah, we will improve the stream, I promise you. It will not be this
Yeah, if you guys could see.
If you could only see how...
We'll take a picture.
Have you ever heard the term ghetto rig?
Yeah, this is definitely MacGyvered.
This is definitely MacGyvered, and there's tape holding the stream together.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get something to you, so this is the best we could do on short notice.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think we're significantly shuffled. Let's draw 7. And let's hopefully get a better game.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm going to mulligan 2 cards. Draw 2. I'm going to shuffle these back in the deck. Any mulligans?
I already did. You're slow.
I'm slow, I'm talking. Alright. We are good to go. 7. Alright. We are going to start with Shaq. 2 points.
Yep, that guy. Alright, I'm going to start with 3, a snow speeder.
Okay. I'm not going to get cute.
Actually, I'm going to do a different snow speeder because that's the one that takes damage on upkeep.
Yeah, that's smart. Alright, so I'm going to do 4 on an Ore. That's going to make me at 6. This is the card that lets me draw cards in the future.
Yep.
Right now, no abilities.
So, Han K, I'm assuming, is pretty critical to the function of this deck?
Han K is the critical function if
Okay.
you're going to win character arena. Like, if your goal is to win character,
Oh, okay.
Han is key.
Okay.
One of the things you can do is
So otherwise, he's
Yeah, so this deck works in it attacks on two angles. It either tries to win character with Han K and a bunch of rebels, or it just puts only pilots in play and skips the character arena altogether and just wins space and ground.
sure.
So, but Han K is the card where, like my mace, where you don't feel bad. That's the card you want to put 9 points on, not the Falcon.
Sure.
That's the card you want to get out and set up.
Han K?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
So 6, and you're at 7. Let's play 2 on a Geonosian Picador. I know Eric is getting giddy every time I play that card.
He actually just went to bed, but yes.
He went to bed.
Yeah.
It is Friday night.
Yeah, he's lame.
Maybe too much Malort.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Or Tosh is pissed at him.
Girlfriend aggro, wife aggro. It's a thing.
It's a real thing. All right. So then, at your recommendation, I will deploy Han Case for 9. So I'll be at 16 total.
Okay. All right. So.
Draw.
Yep. So I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play a second Orray. Go to 12. Draw a card. I'm going to play a Nos monster for 3 and go to 15. Draw a card. And then play another Nos monster for 3. Just set these out and draw a card.
Okay. But those Nos monsters just get bigger if you have an aquatic location, right?
Essentially, yeah. So this unit gets plus 30 speed.
Okay.
And it just gets plus 30 speed.
Okay.
So it becomes a 50 speed as opposed to a 20.
Sure.
So I've got 6, 10, 14, 16, 18, 12, 18. I think I miscounted. 6, 10, 14, 16, 18. Yeah, alright, I got 18. That should be a 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how math works.
Yep.
All right. All right. So then I'm going to put 5 on Luke's X-Wing B.
Okay. And that's like the perfect setup for the light set, right? Just dropping loose X-Wing B for 5 and be like, okay,
come in space.
Come in space and spend all of your points to kill that.
Yeah.
All right.
Come at me, brah, as they say.
All right, so I'm going to pay 2 on a Picador. Oh, wait, I haven't have I passed you? Yeah, I did. All right, 2 on a Picador. Draw. So right now I'm fishing for the rest of my combo, which I don't have.
So now
sad.
you have to play another card.
I have to play another card.
Beaten me.
Yep. So I guess I'll throw something in space. I'll spend 3 points.
Okay.
So make that a 5. Draw a card.
All right.
So 18, 23.
So I'm gonna stack Luke
For 1.
for 1. Draw. All right. Then I think I might just want to do 6 on Lando.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So the reason that I think that's good is because Lando actually has lucky on his own,
Right.
and he gets lucky and lucky stacks.
Right.
And
So he's lucky 4
Yeah, he's lucky 4
with 5 dice.
with
4 dice.
4 dice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's super gross, and he could
you
pilot. He
haven't-
could also pilot Luke's X-wing in a pinch. He's a starfighter and a transport pilot.
Oh, I didn't notice
and he
that.
gives Luke lucky 2 and accuracy 1.
Seems good.
So he's almost as good as R2TJ,
Yeah.
just more expensive.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
And he's also
when
a
does
rebel.
When does he pilot a starfighter?
Return of the Jedi. In a starfighter, I don't know. I don't think we see it in the original trilogy.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that's
just the transport. But yeah,
right. Yeah, that's weird. I wouldn't have ever thought that was a thing. Okay.
All right, so maybe it was his cachet at the Battle of Tanab that they gave him the starfighter.
Maybe. Okay.
All right, so I'm at 10.
I'm at 28 total. I've only got 2 left.
22.
Yep.
Oh no, 23. All right, 23. And I still don't have what I want, so I'm gonna play this in space for 3. So 6, 1, 2. That was a 5 here. Alright, so that's 1, 2. Draw a card. Oh, draw a card. So 12, 24, 26. And oh, all right. 4 points on Malakili. That's all we needed.
Yep. And I'm going to use my last 2 points to partially build a snowspeeder.
Sure. All right. So now we both have much better setups. I have the whole creature engine online as long as Andrea rolls a 2 for build. If not, we'll see what happens.
All right, so we each gain 4 force.
I
got mine from the last
yep,
time.
and she's gonna roll
I
for
roll
build.
for build. 1. Suck it.
Suck it, creatures.
Suck it, creatures.
All right. So because
and this is me rolling ones.
I still get
like a champ.
So I still get the bonus point. So I get 2.
What do you get a bonus point?
For one
for one in each. Oh yeah.
You get a 2. It'll allow me to play my Malakili, but by rolling a 1, it also means I can play nothing else. So it's obviously not what I want to do. So start my build step. I'm gonna draw a card. I'm gonna put my 2 points here to do my thing.
Yep.
And sadly, I have nothing else I can play because I'm out of points.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pass to the light side player.
Yep. So I'm gonna use 1 here, and I'm gonna put 1 here on a partially built card. I'm just going to have it off camera because I don't really have a lot of space, and glare is a real problem on my side of the table over here. All right.
All right. So that's it. So dark side retreats.
I think I forgot to draw a card.
Do I want to retreat? I probably want to retreat space. I could go. Well, let's say I could go first twice.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. Oh, yes.
No. Yeah,
no,
you're at 70. Yeah, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
No point in getting my guys killed.
I hope.
So I'm going to retreat.
All right. I'm not going to retreat.
You might want to treat your rebel troop card.
Oh, that's fair.
Because
it's only,
it only has 1 dice, and I have a bunch of guys.
Yep, that's fair.
So they all have intercept, or they all have extra power.
Yep, that's a fair statement.
So now you guys are going to kind of see the power of the creature deck.
Yep.
If you look, all these creatures, if you look them up on the Star Wars Cantina, which is a good plug, Star Wars Cantina is a website built by one of the IDC members that you can look up all the cards, Wizard of the Coast cards, IDC cards. You can look up any of them.
Well, there's your answer, Garrett.
You can build a deck on the site. You can also filter the cards, so you can see only Wizard of the Coast cards. You can see only IDC cards. You can see only Rebel cards. It has a ton of great functionality to it. If you just go into Google, type Star Wars TCG Cantina, it'll be the first Google result that pops up. I think if you just type Star Wars TCG, it'll also pop up in the first 2 or 3 results. So you're going to see the power of these creatures, which are really just a bunch of cheap, chuddy, terrible units.
Yep.
Normally, if you were not advanced at this game, you would look at this and you'd be like, how am I going to win with a 40 speed 3/3 unit or a 40 speed 1 power 2 toughness unit? And you're about to see how strong these guys are.
You're about to see why.
All right, so space.
Yep.
You win. So Luke taps. Oh, ground. So speed check. You're at 60 and 50. I have only a 40s and 30s. So you go ahead.
Okay. So my 60 rolls 4 dice. It's gonna roll at your picadors. Give everything +1, right?
My picadors give all of my creatures +1.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll out a picador.
Hold on. Malakili gives all my units intercept, which we learned in the last game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna intercept. I'm gonna spend 1 force.
And let me guess, I'm attacking the shack. That's going to get more powerful as I damage it.
Yeah, so this unit says it only has 1 power.
No.
But for every damage counter on it, it gets an additional power, plus all the power from all the other creatures. So right now, this unit is, even without no damage on it, it's attacking for 1. +1 is 2, +1 is 3, +1 is 4. And it's going to take this hit.
Yep. 2.
So 2 hits, so we're going to put 2 damage on it. So that's 2 additional power when it attacks, if it lives.
And then
50.
my 50 is going to go. It rolls 3 dice. And I think at this point I just... No, I think I still target the picadors and make you figure out where it's going.
You could do that. So statistically, she could roll 3 hits and a crit for 4 damage. That would
Yes.
kill one of my Ores, so they only have 4 health. But that would require a
3
perfect
health.
roll.
Yeah.
Or I could let her roll at my shake and kind of give it in. Good chance she kills it. Because it only has, what, 3 health left? 3 health is a lot easier to hit than 4. I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to spend 1 force. I'm going to roll it at Ore.
Okay. Oh, no.
So she got critical
2.
hit 1, so 2 damage. So 2
Yeah,
on my Ore.
this unit has critical hit 1.
Yep.
And 3 power, 3 health.
Alright, so she went with both of her stronger fast units, and
Yep.
I didn't lose anything.
Yeah. Which
So
is, that's the
that's
power of
bad.
intercept.
Yeah, and the power of this deck. So 40 speeders. Let's just roll with my Ore. So he gets +1 power for Malakili and +1 for each Picador. So he's rolling 6 dice.
Yep.
And he's going to roll 6 dice at the unmodified Snow Speeder. And he's got
3.
hits. So 3 damage. The other Ore is going to roll 6 dice. And he's going to roll at the Snow Speeder. He's got 4 hits. She'll kill it. The Shake is going to roll. He gets +2 power for the damage. +1 from these. So he's getting +5. So he's rolling 6 dice.
Yep.
And he's going to roll at the other Snow Speeder. And he's got 3. Which will kill it. And the Picadors have nothing to attack because that Speeder is retreated.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how the Ground Arena was just 7 points of build just dispatched like that. And now we'll go to character.
Mm-hmm.
So character, I have only 20 speed. So
I
you're
guess
actually
technically all those units had lucky 2, didn't they? We forgot about that.
Yeah, that's.
I don't
fair.
know that it really would have mattered, but
Actually, could have. I hit for 4 on both of them.
I mean it's too late.
But
now.
it's too late. We totally forgot
But
about
we
it.
did forget about that.
Yep. That actually could have mattered a lot.
It's possible, but for a turn, I might have been able to keep them
It would have.
online.
It also could have mattered because you could have rolled higher and could have potentially. So we really screwed that up.
Yeah. It's fine. It is what it is. All right. So I have a 50 and a 30, so I think both of them
They
are
both
going
get to
first.
go, and they both have lucky.
So
Han gives all your other rebels lucky, but he himself also has lucky.
yes, correct.
So he rolls 5 dice with lucky too.
Yep.
In accuracy.
We'll just go at Malakili at this point.
So I can intercept with these.
Yep.
But what
I
the hell?
mean,
I can do
I'll
that
make
anyways.
you spend the force. You
Yep.
can do it no matter what.
Yep. Go for it.
I can't do much about it.
Lucky the 2 misses. And
Okay,
that's
got it.
5 hits.
5.
And they have exactly 5 health. So he's dead.
They have. Oh yeah.
Malakili gives him
Yep.
+1. Alright. And Lando gets to go.
Yep. And he rolls 4 dice.
Yeah, he's 30 speed, right?
Yes.
Yes. My guys are so slow.
We'll go at
4
Malakili
dice.
again.
Yep. Malakili?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Can't kill him. Lucky. Hold on. I think he has.
I can roll.
He might have accuracy.
He does not.
No?
Nope, just lucky 4.
Okay. 3 hits. Okay. Alright. And so Nos Monster's going to roll 4. And he's going to roll at Han.
Okay.
And he gets +1 for the Picadors, so he's actually rolling 7.
Yeah.
Rolling 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 4 hits at Han. And a
Okay.
lucky 2.
Yep.
3 hits at Han.
Okay.
Malakili rolls 2 dice. He's not a creature. Just roll 2 at Han. 1.
Reroll.
Lucky. 0. Okay. So, going to the end of the turn, we no one won the game. Ready phase. Ready our units. Gain 4, so go to 5. Andrew rolls for build. Let's roll the 6. Okay.
And neither of us get the bonus this
None
time.
of us get the bonus. So I'm going to draw. And I'm going to spend 1 build point to play Wampa Cave. So this is a card for the creature deck that it's a location. It makes all of your creatures cost 1 less build point to play. So that cost me 1. I'm going to spend 1 build point now for a Kohun. And because I have 2 Ores in play, I get to draw 2 cards when I play that card. So I draw 2 more. I'll spend 2 build points because of the Wampa Cave to play a Nos monster. Because I have Ores, I draw 2 cards. And then I'll play 1 build point on another Shake, cost 1. And I draw 2 cards. And then I will play 1 build point on a Bogwing and draw 2 cards. So that is the creature engine, folks. I just deployed a ridiculous amount of stuff for 6
And
build
drew
points.
a bajillion cards.
And I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 cards in my hand, and I deployed what? 4 units?
5?
Yeah, I think 4 units. I'll push these guys in because why not? And I'm done.
Yep.
So you see, the creatures are just really meant to overwhelm you with cheap efficiency.
Yeah.
That's how the deck works.
Yep. Which they're going to do very, very well.
And like I said earlier, the way to beat the creature deck is to destroy this.
Right, which I can't do.
Which you can't do. It's really difficult. So
Yep.
it's if the creature deck gets going and this little engine kind of this is like a 1, 2, 3. It's a 4-card engine. If this little 4-card engine gets rolling, you don't even need the Picadors, honestly.
No,
if
you
this
don't.
3-card engine gets going, it's very hard to come back from that.
Yeah. Yep.
The best thing she could do as the light side player is she could get rid of the Wampa Cave and then kill my Malakili. It's really hard to do because he has Intercept. That's where there's cards that are really good against this. Like Homing Missile is very good because she could directly damage this unit with a Homing Missile if you had something. Trap Door is very good because you could directly damage this unit and then stop all the Intercept. Yeah, we'll see if she can pull this out. It doesn't look good. I really didn't want to play the creature deck because I personally don't think it leads to fun games on camera. It either does its thing and crushes somebody, or it just craps out and it doesn't get its engine going and it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, last game I should have lost, but she also had a crap out hand, and it was kind of like
Yep.
the lesser of 2.
Yep. Alright, so I deployed my things. And yeah.
Alright.
Sorry,
And we'll play this out just because we're on camera. Otherwise, we'd probably skip this one.
Yes.
But
I don't think it's gonna last much
so
more than
do you
this
want
turn
to?
anyway.
Do you want to? I'm gonna retreat here.
Okay. I'm gonna retreat my roll card.
Okay. And then battle phase.
Yep.
So battle, you win.
Yep.
And then ground. I've got a 60.
I have a 60 as
It
well.
has 3 dice. 4 dice actually, plus 3, so 4. So let's roll 4 at the this thing. Maybe we get lucky. And we'll remember the lucky this time. 1 hit. Okay. And then you have me on speed. I have all 40s.
Okay. 60. And we're gonna try to go with the Ori that's damaged.
Right, and I'm gonna intercept with the undamaged Shake.
Yep.
And you can see this is where it's just frustrating. against playing against creatures
3.
because she can't even choose where she wants to go.
Right. I
Like,
didn't realize that he had intercept. I don't know.
intercept-
I think I've played that wrong every
Yeah.
time I've played this
Yeah,
deck.
the intercept is what makes him go because I get to for one force I'm choosing where she attacks. I don't use force for anything this
Yeah.
other than intercepting.
Yeah.
So what did you hit for 3?
3.
So I'm gonna put 3 damage on this shake, which is not dead. It's just gonna make him stronger,
Yep.
which is super irritating.
Yep.
And then you're still up.
Choose my target.
Yeah, and we have the same math. I don't care about this guy for 1 health, so just go with this guy because he already went. Yep.
Pay your force.
Yep. Pay him a force.
You don't get to choose my target for free.
Nope.
2.
2. That'll kill him. Okay. Yeah, I just let her kill a guy that already went. He only cost me 1 build point to play him. No big deal. So now I get to go with all my stuff. Let's go with Ore, rolling 6 dice. 4, 6. At the damaged Snow Speeder. And we've got 2 hits. We will lucky 2. 1 hit. Then the other Ore is going to go roll 6.
Nick is on.
Balls.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, Nick.
He said he was going to pop in. Check it out. Alright, so we got...
Oh, obliterated? Okay.
Yeah, I got lucky 2, though. Still obliterated.
Okay.
5.
Was it where you going here?
Yep. And then the shake's going to go. It's rolling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice. At the other Steeder. Lucky 2.
4.
4. And then this one rolls 7 dice.
You don't even need to roll. It's going to die on its upkeep.
0.
You don't need to re-roll any of those.
Yeah. Well, I'd like if I just kill it.
You win? No, you don't win.
1. Lucky. 0.
I guess that's wrong.
1.
All right, so he
Nothing.
lives.
So he definitely lives.
He lives until upkeep when he dies.
Yep. All right, and then character, you're up.
So let's just start with a trapdoor on Molecule.
Okay. And
So trapdoor is pay 4 force, choose an untapped character, tap that unit, and deal 3 damage to it.
this is why the creature deck is stupid. I will play Lando's Trickery. I will exhaust my Molecule. And this card is a disrupt. So this is the first time you get to see a disrupt. So she plays a battle card, plaster play. So she plays this card. A disrupt card basically allows me to play this card in response to her playing that one. And then I get to basically cancel it.
Yep.
The cost of playing this card is just exhausting a neutral unit. I'm exhausting Malakili, he only attacks for 2. All I care about is
His effect.
his effect. And
Yep.
she loses the 4 force, which is
And I
annoying.
lose the 4 force.
So,
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
and that's what's annoying. Like, I have so many cards in my hand that even if you do have an answer, sometimes it's hard to beat.
Yeah, to push through it.
Yeah.
Alright, well, Han is going to try and go with the Kohum.
And I will intercept with an Os monster. And reroll 2, the 3 counts. 4 hits. He is not dead. You have 1 health because of Malakili.
Yep. Alright, and then Lando is going to go at the Kohum.
Yeah, intercept for 1 at the other Nos monster. Reroll 3. These rerolls
3.
are for lucky, by the way.
Yes.
So people forget. Alright, so 3 does not kill him. And so Kohun goes
and kills who?
kills Lando. And then the Nos monster will roll 7 dice at Han Solo. And I got 2 hits, 4 hits, reroll. So I got 3 hits. Kills Lando.
Kills Han.
Yeah. And we could continue, but honestly, there's really no point. Well, let's play it out. We're on camera. We'll play it out.
I mean, I don't have a ground unit to draw, so.
Yeah.
Like, I just drew a card, and I have all space units. And
Yeah.
I guess I could play a wedding, but let's see if I can even...
Nope.
Nope, can't
Alright,
even do
so
anything with it.
her hand, she has no units to play in character, no units to play in
Yeah,
ground.
so I have all
space units.
space units
So-
and a mission card that costs 2 to draw 3.
Yeah, and even then, even if you had a unit, all you're doing is delaying the game.
Yes, correct.
So that's
That was the creatures.
the nasty.
Although this really wasn't, this did not pilot at all, even though it's a pilot deck apparently.
you didn't have you could have piloted, but you had the Lando pilot. But
Yeah.
the problem was that's the problem with the pilot deck against creatures. It doesn't care about space.
Yeah.
You're always using your characters to try to win character on ground.
Yeah.
Or win one of the two, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creatures deck is kind of a deck that we built for competitive play. Um, and it's always been good. What's crazy is there are cards that are banned that make this deck even better. We're not playing any of the banned cards though. But
All right.
that was a couple. We played a couple games.
Yeah.
We did a tutorial.
We've been streaming for almost 3.5 hours,
Yep,
so
so I think
we
it's
can probably call
I
it.
think it's a good time. I want to thank everyone for jumping on the stream. We'll be doing more of this. I think the next stream though might be a stream off my computer showing people how to download the game on Lackey and how to actually play games on Lackey, and I'll hopefully get some of our guys from the local community to play a live game with me on Lackey so other people can play. The best thing about Lackey, you could download all the cards, IDC and Wizards of the Coast, play the game 100% for free from your house. So even if you don't have cards, you can play. We use Discord to communicate while we're playing, and it's a great way to learn how to play the game. I do have about 30 or 40 decks already constructed on Lackey, so even if you don't know how to play, I can give you decks that you can just drop into the game, and you can play. Like if you wanted to play this creature deck, you can play any decks that I own for free online. So join us on Star Wars TCG on Facebook, or join us on Discord. You can find the link for Discord on our Star Wars TCG Facebook group, or you can search on Discord for Star Wars the Trading Card Game.
And then maybe just one more plug for whatever that database was that has all of the WotC cards.
Yeah, so the database is called Star Wars Cantina. Just in the Google search Star Wars TCG, it'll probably come up. But if you
didn't,
just type in
'cause-
Star Wars TCG Cantina, it will 100% come up.
Okay.
So, thank you everybody. This is Home Base Games, and we're signing out.
Thanks, guys.